Strategic Human Resources Management. Table of Content. The Age of Strategic People Leadership. Chapter 1. Introduction to Strategic Human Resource Management. Chapter 2. Strategic Workforce Planning. Chapter 3. Talent Acquisition Strategy. Chapter 4. Performance Management Systems. Chapter 5. Learning and Development (L&D) Strategy. Chapter 6. Employee Engagement and Retention Strategy. Chapter 7. Compensation and Reward Strategy. Chapter 8. Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Belonging (DEIB Strategy. Chapter 9. HR Analytics and Data-Driven Decision-Making. Chapter 10. HR Technology and Digital Transformation. Chapter 11. Global HR Strategy and Cross-Cultural Management. Chapter 12. Change Management and Organizational Development. Chapter 13. Leadership Development and Succession Planning. Chapter 14. Employee Engagement and Retention Strategies. Chapter 15. Compensation and Benefits Strategy. Chapter 16. HR Analytics and People Data Strategy. Chapter 17. Talent Management and Workforce Planning. Chapter 18. Performance Management and Continuous Feedback Systems. Chapter 19. Leadership Development and Succession Planning. Chapter 20. Organizational Culture and Change Management. Chapter 21. Global HRM and Cross-Cultural Management. Chapter 22. HR Technology and Digital Transformation. Chapter 23. HR Metrics and Analytics. Chapter 24. Corporate Social Responsibility and Hours Role. Chapter 25. The Future of Work in HR. The Age of Strategic People Leadership. The world of work is at a crossroads. Globalization, artificial intelligence, demographic shifts, and the rise of remote work have transformed not just how we work, but why we work. The traditional view of human resources as an administrative function, processing payroll, managing compliance, filling vacancies, is gone. Today, HR sits at the center of organizational strategy, shaping culture, designing the workforce of tomorrow, and driving competitive advantage. In boardrooms around the world, CEOs are realizing what forward-thinking HR leaders have known all along. People are not just a cost to be managed, they are the most powerful driver of innovation, growth, and resilience. Consider this: in the past decade, the companies consistently ranked as the world's most admired, Apple, Microsoft, Salesforce, Unilever, share a common truth. Their ability to attract, develop, and retain top talent is as important to their success as their products, technology, or marketing strategies. But the stakes have never been higher. Talent shortages are global. Employee expectations are rising. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are no longer optional, they are business imperatives. Organizations are under pressure to demonstrate environmental and social responsibility while delivering financial results. The leaders who will thrive in this new era are those who understand that strategic human resources management is not just a function, it is a philosophy, a discipline, and a competitive weapon. This book is a roadmap for that journey. Across 25 chapters, you will explore how our strategy can be aligned with corporate strategy, how to build and measure world-class talent systems, how to develop leaders, shape culture, and manage change, how to harness analytics, technology, and data to make better decisions, and most importantly, how to future-proof your workforce in a world of constant disruption. You will also encounter real-world case studies from organizations that have mastered the art of people strategy, and lessons from those that failed to adapt. This is not just a book for HR professionals. It is for CEOs, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and anyone who believes that people are the ultimate differentiator. The future of work has already begun. This is your guide to shaping it. Chapter 1. Introduction to Strategic Human Resource Management. 1.1 Understanding SHRM. Strategic Human Resource Management, SHRM, is the proactive management of people with a focus on aligning HR policies and practices with the long-term goals of the organization. It is a shift from reactive personnel management to a forward-looking integrated approach where HR becomes a strategic partner in driving business results. Whereas traditional HR focuses on operational tasks such as recruitment, payroll, and compliance, SHRM emphasizes linking HR decisions with business strategy, building sustainable competitive advantage through talent, anticipating workforce trends, skill shortages, and organizational needs, embedding HR metrics into business performance dashboards. 1.2 Evolution of HR to SHRM. This evolution reflects how businesses have recognized people not just as resources, but as strategic assets. 1.3 Core Principles of SHRM. Alignment with strategy. HR initiatives support business goals, e.g., market expansion, innovation. Evidence-based decisions. Use of HR analytics to measure impact, turnover rate, cost per hire, ROI of training. Proactive talent management. Planning workforce needs for the future, not just filling vacancies. Employee engagement. Creating an environment that drives motivation and retention. Continuous adaptation. HR systems evolve as market conditions, technology, and employee expectations change. 1.4 The business case for SHRM. Organizations that adopt SHRM practices consistently outperform those that do not. Studies by the Society for Human Resource Management show 20 to 30% higher productivity, lower voluntary turnover rates, higher financial returns compared to industry averages. This is because SHRM helps to ensure the right people are in the right roles at the right time. Leadership pipelines are developed internally. Employee experience aligns with brand promise, attracting top talent. 1.5 Frameworks for SHRM. Several frameworks help organizations implement SHRM effectively. The Harvard Framework. This model focuses on 4 HR policy areas: employee influence, human resource flow, reward systems, work systems, and links them to stakeholder interests, situational factors, and long-term consequences. The Resource-Based View, RBV. RBV argues that human capital can be a source of sustainable competitive advantage if it is valuable, contributes to performance, rare, not easily available to competitors, inimitable, difficult to copy, non-substitutable, cannot be replaced by technology or other resources. 1.6 Case Studies. Case Study 1. Southwest Airlines People as a Competitive Advantage. Southwest Airlines built its strategy on offering low-cost, reliable air travel with a strong emphasis on customer service. HR strategy. Hired employees based on cultural fit rather than just technical skill. Empowered frontline staff to make quick decisions to delight customers. Designed a reward system that reinforced teamwork and fun. Outcome. Industry-leading customer satisfaction ratings. Consistent profitability even during downturns. A reputation as an employer of choice. Case Study 2. Google Data-Driven HR People Analytics. Google pioneered the use of HR analytics to guide talent decisions. HR strategy. Used statistical models to predict which candidates would succeed. Ran experiments to optimize manager effectiveness. Measured the impact of benefits on employee retention. Outcome. Increased retention of high performers. Improved managerial quality across the company. Built a culture of innovation supported by data-driven hour. Case Study 3. Toyota Strategic Workforce Planning. Toyota faced global expansion challenges and needed to ensure quality standards across geographies. HR strategy. Developed the Toyota Way philosophy and trained employees worldwide. Created leadership development pipelines to maintain culture consistency. Aligned HR planning with production schedules to avoid labor shortages. Outcome: high consistency in quality across markets. Smooth scaling into international markets. Strong internal talent pipeline that reduced reliance on external hiring. 1.7 Key takeaways. SHRM transforms HR from a support function to a strategic driver of performance. Businesses succeed when HR strategy is integrated with organizational goals. Real-world examples: Southwest, Google, Toyota, show that SHRM can drive innovation, culture, and profitability. The future of HR will be data-driven, agile, and deeply embedded in business decision-making. Chapter 2: Strategic Workforce Planning. 2.1 Introduction. Strategic Workforce Planning, SWP, is the process of ensuring that an organization has the right number of people with the right skills, in the right roles, at the right time, and at the right cost to execute its business strategy. Unlike short-term staffing, SWP looks 3 to 5 years ahead to anticipate future needs and prepare the workforce to meet them. This makes it a critical building block of strategic HRM. 2.2 Objectives of Strategic Workforce Planning. Anticipate future talent needs. Predict demand for key roles based on business growth plans. Identify gaps. Compare current workforce capabilities to future requirements. Mitigate risks. Address potential talent shortages, retirements, or skill obsolescence. Optimize costs. Balance labor expenses while maximizing productivity. Enable agility. Build a workforce that can quickly adapt to changing market conditions. 2.3 The Workforce Planning Process. A well-designed workforce planning process typically follows 5 key steps. Step 1. Analyze business strategy. Understand strategic goals, e.g., market expansion, new product development, digital transformation. Identify workforce implications, e.g., need for more engineers, customer support in new regions. Step 2. Assess current workforce. Conduct a skills inventory and headcount analysis. Use tools like competency frameworks, skills matrices, and HR analytics. Identify demographics, age distribution, retirement risk, and workforce mobility. Step 3. Forecast future workforce needs. Estimate workforce demand using quantitative models, ratio analysis, productivity benchmarks. Qualitative methods, expert panels, scenario planning. Consider external factors like automation, industry disruption, and labor market trends. Step 4. Identify gaps and risks. Determine shortages, surpluses, and skill mismatches. Evaluate critical roles that directly impact strategic goals. Identify risks, such as overdependence on key employees or outdated skills. Step 5. Develop and execute action plans. Recruitment plans, internal-external hiring. Reskilling and upskilling programs. Succession planning. Flexible workforce models, contractors, gig workers. Retention strategies for top talent. 2.4 Tools and techniques. 2.5 Metrics for measuring workforce planning success. Vacancy fill time. Reduction indicates better alignment between hiring and needs. Internal mobility rate. Shows ability to meet demand through internal talent. Skills coverage ratio. Percentage of critical skills available within workforce. Workforce cost ratio. Labor cost as a proportion of revenue or output. Turnover in critical roles. A drop indicates effective retention strategies. 2.6 Case studies. Case study 1, IBM, Reskilling for the AI Era. Challenge: IBM recognized that many traditional IT roles would become obsolete due to AI and automation. Workforce planning approach. Launched a global skills build initiative to retrain employees for AI, cybersecurity, and cloud computing roles. Created digital learning platforms to provide personalized learning paths. Partnered with universities to fill emerging skill gaps. Outcome: reduced layoffs by redeploying employees to new roles. Strengthened IBM's position as a leader in AI-enabled services. Improved employee engagement through clear career pathways. Case Study 2: Unilever, building an agile workforce. Challenge: Unilever needed a flexible workforce to respond quickly to changing consumer demand. Workforce planning approach: adopted a future-fit skills framework to map evolving skill needs. Increased use of project-based teams and gig workers. Introduced AI-driven talent marketplaces to match employees with internal projects. Outcome: reduced reliance on external hiring by mobilizing internal talent. Increased employee satisfaction with career development opportunities. Improved time to market for product innovations. Case Study 3: National Health Service UK, long-term workforce planning. Challenge: the NHS faced chronic shortages of doctors and nurses due to retirements and growing healthcare demand. Workforce planning approach: developed 15-year workforce forecast based on demographic trends. Partnered with universities to expand medical and nursing programs. Created international recruitment campaigns to attract healthcare professionals. Outcome: stabilized workforce supply for critical roles. Improved patient outcomes by maintaining adequate staffing levels. Strengthened pipeline for future healthcare professionals. 2.7 Challenges in workforce planning. Uncertainty: rapid technological change makes forecasting difficult. Data limitations: incomplete skills data can lead to inaccurate gap analysis. Resistance to change: leaders may be reluctant to commit to long-term plans. Global variability: talent availability and labor laws vary across regions. 2.8 Best practices: integrate workforce planning into business planning cycles. Use predictive analytics to improve accuracy. Engage business leaders early to secure buy-in. Build continuous workforce planning, not a one-off project. Align learning and development with workforce forecasts. 2.9 Key takeaways. Workforce planning links business strategy to people strategy. Organizations that anticipate talent needs outperform those that react. Case studies from IBM, Unilever, and NHS show that proactive planning leads to resilience, innovation, and improved outcomes. Future-ready HR leaders must combine data analytics, scenario modeling, and change management to make workforce planning successful. Chapter 3: Talent Acquisition Strategy. 3.1 Introduction. Talent acquisition, TA, is more than just recruitment. It is a strategic approach to identifying, attracting, and hiring top talent who will drive business success, today and in the future. In Strategic Human Resource Management, SHRM, talent acquisition is aligned with workforce planning, Chapter 2, and organizational strategy to ensure that the right people are hired for the right roles to deliver long-term value. 3.2 Talent acquisition versus recruitment. 3.3 Strategic objectives of talent acquisition. Strengthen employer brand, position the organization as an attractive place to work. Attract high-quality candidates, target talent that matches organizational culture and skill needs. Improve hiring efficiency, reduce time to fill and cost per hire. Build future pipelines, anticipate future roles and source talent in advance. Enhance diversity and inclusion, expand reach to underrepresented groups. 3.4 Components of a talent acquisition strategy. 1. Workforce planning integration. Link TA efforts to the workforce plan. Know which roles are critical, emerging, or high risk. Prioritize hiring efforts for hard-to-fill roles. 2. Employer branding. Employer brand is the company's reputation as a workplace. Key elements. Employee value proposition, EVP, a clear statement of what employees gain by working for the organization. Showcasing culture through social media, career websites, and employee testimonials. Tracking brand health through employer review platforms, Glassdoor, Indeed. 3. Sourcing strategy. Active sourcing, posting jobs on career sites, job boards, and social media. Passive sourcing, building relationships with candidates not actively job hunting, LinkedIn outreach, networking events. Talent pools, maintaining a database of potential future candidates. 4. Candidate experience. Positive candidate experience builds goodwill even among those not hired. Clear communication at every stage. Fast, transparent process. Personalized interactions. 5. Data-driven recruitment. Use HR analytics to monitor time to hire, cost per hire, and quality of hire. Apply AI and predictive analytics to identify best fit candidates and forecast hiring needs. 6. Diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI). Set measurable diversity, hiring goals. Use structured interviews to reduce bias. Partner with diverse professional associations and universities. 3.5 Talent acquisition channels. 3.6 Technology in talent acquisition. Applicant tracking systems, ATS, streamline candidate management. AI-powered sourcing, match candidates to job descriptions automatically. Chatbots, automate initial candidate screening and FAQs. Gamification and assessments, evaluate candidate skills in engaging ways. Video interviewing, speeds up early-stage interviews, especially for global hiring. 3.7 Key metrics. Time to fill, average number of days to hire. Cost per hire, total hiring expenses per candidate. Quality of hire, performance and retention of new hires. Candidate Net Promoter Score, NPS, candidate satisfaction measure. Diversity ratios, representation of different demographics in applicant pool and hires. 3.8 Case studies. Case study 1, Netflix, hiring for culture and agility. Challenge, as Netflix transitioned from DVD rentals to streaming, it needed talent comfortable with rapid change and innovation. Talent acquisition strategy. Built a strong EVP emphasizing freedom, responsibility, and innovation. Designed a hiring process that focused heavily on culture fit. Leveraged employee networks for referrals. Outcome. Created a workforce that thrived in a disruptive environment. Strengthened brand as an innovative, desirable employer. Achieved smooth business model transformation. Case study 2, Salesforce, building a diverse talent pipeline. Challenge, Salesforce wanted to increase representation of women and underrepresented minorities in tech roles. Talent acquisition strategy. Partnered with organizations like Girls Who Code and Black Girls Code. Used inclusive job descriptions and blind resume screening. Tracked diversity metrics in real time. Outcome. Significant improvement in workforce diversity. Increased innovation by leveraging diverse perspectives. Enhanced employer reputation as a socially responsible company. Case study 3, Siemens, leveraging technology for global hiring. Challenge, Siemens needed to fill thousands of technical roles worldwide while reducing hiring costs. Talent acquisition strategy. Implemented a global ATS and standardized processes across regions. Used AI to pre-screen candidates and predict job fit. Introduced video interviewing to speed up decision-making. Outcome. Reduced time to fill by 30%. Improved quality of hire metrics. Enhanced candidate experience through consistent tech-enabled processes. 3.9 Challenges in talent acquisition. Talent shortages in highly specialized fields. Employer brand perception gaps, especially for legacy organizations. Risk of algorithmic bias in AI-driven recruitment. Candidate ghosting, withdrawal during hiring process. Competition from remote-first companies offering global opportunities. 3.10 Best Practices. Align TA metrics with business outcomes, e.g., revenue per employee, innovation rate. Build long-term talent communities, rather than starting from scratch with every opening. Engage hiring managers as strategic partners. Invest in training recruiters on DEI and unconscious bias. Continuously improve based on candidate feedback and data analytics. 3.11 Key Takeaways. Talent acquisition is a strategic differentiator, not just an HR function. Employer branding, sourcing strategy, and candidate experience must align with business goals. Case studies from Netflix, Salesforce, and Siemens illustrate that proactive, data-driven, and inclusive TA strategies can transform organizations. Technology is reshaping TA, but human judgment, culture fit, and relationship building remain crucial. Chapter 4: Performance Management Systems. 4.1 Introduction. Performance management is the process of setting goals, monitoring progress, providing feedback, and evaluating results to ensure employees contribute effectively to organizational objectives. In Strategic Human Resource Management (SHRM), performance management systems (PMS) are not just annual evaluations, they are continuous data-driven and strategically aligned processes designed to maximize individual, team, and organizational performance. 4.2 Objectives of Performance Management. Align individual goals with business strategy. Ensure every employee understands how their work impacts the organization. Improve employee engagement. Motivate employees through recognition and growth opportunities. Identify skill gaps. Provide targeted learning and development. Support talent decisions. Use performance data for promotions, succession planning, and rewards. Drive organizational agility. Enable fast course correction in changing environments. 4.3 Evolution of Performance Management. 4.4 Core Components of a Performance Management System. 1. Goal setting. SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. OKRs, objectives and key results. Focus on ambitious, measurable objectives with clear key results. Cascading goals. Align individual, team, and organizational objectives. 2. Continuous feedback. Frequent one-to-one meetings between managers and employees. Real-time recognition of achievements. Constructive coaching conversations for improvement. 3. Performance reviews. Mid-year check-ins, adjust goals as priorities shift. Annual review. Summarize achievements, development, and future goals. 360-degree feedback. Collect input from peers, direct reports, and customers for a holistic view. 4. Development planning. Identify career aspirations and skill gaps. Offer learning opportunities, courses, mentoring, job rotations. Create individual development plans, IDPs. 5. Rewards and recognition. Link performance ratings to compensation decisions. Offer non-monetary recognition, badges, public praise, career opportunities. 4.5 Modern trends in performance management. Continuous performance conversations, moving away from once-a-year appraisals. Data-driven insights, using analytics to predict performance outcomes. Employee-centric systems, allowing employees to track progress, request feedback, and set development goals. AI in performance management, identifying high performers, predicting attrition risk. Decoupling pay from ratings, focusing reviews on growth, not just compensation. 4.6 Key metrics. Goal achievement rate, percentage of objectives completed. Employee engagement scores, correlate engagement with performance. Performance distribution, track the proportion of high, average, and low performers. Turnover of high performers, indicator of system effectiveness. Manager feedback frequency, measure how often managers hold coaching conversations. 4.7 Case Studies. Case Study 1, Adobe Check-in Model. Challenge: Adobe found that annual performance reviews were time-consuming and demotivating, leading to voluntary turnover. Solution: eliminated annual reviews and ratings. Introduced check-in, ongoing conversations about expectations, feedback, and growth. Empowered managers to make merit decisions based on continuous dialogue. Outcome: 30% reduction in voluntary turnover. Increased employee satisfaction with performance feedback. Saved nearly 80,000 manager hours per year. Case Study 2, Microsoft Growth Mindset Approach. Challenge: Microsoft's traditional stack ranking system was harming collaboration and innovation. Solution: abandoned forced ranking and focused on a growth mindset culture. Shifted performance discussions toward learning, development, and team impact. Introduced continuous feedback loops supported by digital tools. Outcome: boosted collaboration and cross-functional innovation. Improved engagement scores across teams. Helped transform Microsoft's culture under CEO Satya Nadella. Case Study 3, General Electric GE, From Annual Reviews to PD at GE. Challenge: GE's once famous annual appraisal process had become outdated in a fast-paced environment. Solution: replaced annual reviews with a mobile-enabled PD at GE app for real-time feedback. Encouraged managers to have frequent coaching conversations. Allowed employees to track goals and progress dynamically. Outcome: increased speed of feedback and goal adjustments. Enhanced employee accountability and motivation. Supported GE's shift toward a more agile organization. 4.8 Challenges in performance management. Bias: recency, halo, or similarity bias can distort ratings. Manager capability: not all managers are skilled at giving feedback. Change resistance: employees and managers may prefer familiar systems. Overcomplexity: too many metrics or rigid systems can discourage adoption. 4.9 Best Practices. Train managers in coaching and feedback skills. Keep performance conversations simple, frequent, and meaningful. Use technology to enable transparency and employee self-service. Align performance metrics with organizational values and behaviors. Separate development discussions from pay discussions to encourage honest dialogue. 4.10 Key Takeaways. Performance management is not a one-time event, it is a continuous strategic process. Modern systems emphasize feedback, agility, and development rather than rigid ratings. Adobe, Microsoft, and GE demonstrate how rethinking performance systems can boost engagement, innovation, and business outcomes. SHRM leaders must ensure performance management supports culture, strategy, and long-term workforce capability. Chapter 5, Learning and Development L&D Strategy. 5.1 Introduction. Learning and development L&D is the process of building skills, knowledge, and capabilities within the workforce to support both individual career growth and organizational success. In the context of strategic human resource management, SHRM, L&D is not just training. It is a strategic investment that enables businesses to remain competitive, adapt to disruption, and create a future-ready workforce. 5.2 Objectives of L&D. Align skills with strategy. Ensure employees have the competencies needed for current and future business goals. Close skill gaps. Address gaps identified during workforce planning. Chapter 2. Drive innovation. Foster continuous learning to stay ahead in rapidly changing industries. Boost engagement and retention. Provide career growth opportunities to reduce turnover. Develop leadership pipelines. Prepare high-potential employees for future leadership roles. 5.3 The L&D Value Chain. Assess needs. Conduct skills audits and training needs assessments. Use data from performance management systems. Chapter 4. Analyze future skills from workforce forecasts. Design and develop programs. Create learning objectives aligned with business outcomes. Use blended learning, classroom e-learning, microlearning. Include experiential learning opportunities, projects, rotations. Deliver learning. Offer accessible, flexible learning platforms. Incorporate social learning, mentoring, and peer collaboration. Support self-directed learning through digital tools. Evaluate and measure impact. Use Kirkpatrick's 4 levels of evaluation. Level 1, reaction, learner satisfaction. Level 2, learning, knowledge, skills gained. Level 3, behavior on the job application. Level 4, results, business outcomes. Continuously improve. Analyze data to refine content, delivery, and methods. Update programs to reflect emerging skills and market needs. 5.4 Types of learning and development initiatives. 5.5 Modern trends in L&D. Personalized learning paths. Adaptive platforms tailor content to individual needs. Microlearning. Bite-sized lessons delivered just in time. Social and collaborative learning. Peer-to-peer learning communities. Gamification. Increases engagement through points, badges, leaderboards. Mobile learning. Anytime, anywhere access to learning content. AI and learning analytics. Recommends content, predicts skill gaps, measures impact. 5.6 Measuring ROI of L&D. Measuring the return on investment, ROI, is critical for demonstrating the strategic value of L&D. ROI equals monetary benefits from training minus training costs times 100. ROI equals training costs monetary benefits from training minus training costs times 100. Key metrics. Productivity improvement. Reduced error rates or downtime. Higher internal promotion rates. Employee engagement scores. Retention of high performers. 5.7 Case studies. Case study 1, AT&T, reskilling at scale. Challenge: AT&T predicted that nearly half of its workforce would lack critical skills for future technologies, cloud, AI, cybersecurity. L&D strategy. Launched a $1 billion reskilling initiative, Future Ready. Partnered with universities to offer online nanodegrees. Gave employees clear skill roadmaps and career pathways. Outcome: reskilled over 200,000 employees. Reduced need for mass layoffs by redeploying talent. Strengthened AT&T's ability to compete in the digital economy. Case study 2, IBM Skills Academy. Challenge: IBM needed to rapidly upskill employees for emerging fields like blockchain and quantum computing. L&D strategy. Developed the IBM Skills Academy, offering curated learning paths. Used AI-driven learning recommendations, Watson. Tied completion of learning paths to internal job opportunities. Outcome: increased internal mobility and retention. Created a workforce skilled in next-generation technologies. Enhanced IBM's employer brand as a learning organization. Case study 3, Deloitte, leadership development. Challenge: Deloitte needed to develop a strong pipeline of future partners and leaders. L&D strategy. Built Deloitte University, a state-of-the-art leadership development center. Focused programs on strategy, innovation, and client impact. Combined classroom learning with real-world consulting projects. Outcome: increased promotion readiness and leadership bench strength. Enhanced organizational culture around lifelong learning. Became a model for corporate leadership development worldwide. 5.8 Challenges in L&D. Budget constraints. Difficult to justify investment without clear ROI. Engagement. Employees may be too busy to complete training. Relevance. Outdated or generic training reduces impact. Scalability. Delivering consistent training across global locations. Measuring impact. Hard to link training outcomes to business results. 5.9 Best practices. Tie learning programs directly to business KPIs. Encourage a culture of continuous learning. Leaders should model learning behaviors. Offer choice and flexibility in learning methods. Use data to personalize learning and track skill progress. Blend formal, informal, and experiential learning for maximum impact. 5.10 Key takeaways. L&D is a strategic enabler of business transformation. Modern L&D strategies must be data-driven, personalized, and scalable. Case studies from AT&T, IBM, and Deloitte prove that investing in learning drives innovation, engagement, and competitiveness. Future-ready HR leaders must build learning ecosystems that integrate technology, culture, and career development. Chapter 6. Employee Engagement and Retention Strategy. 6.1 Introduction. Hiring and training talent is only the beginning. To truly gain a competitive edge, organizations must keep employees motivated, committed, and productive over the long term. Employee engagement and retention strategies focus on creating a positive employee experience, reducing voluntary turnover, building a culture where employees want to stay and grow. In SHRM, engagement and retention are directly tied to organizational performance, innovation, and employer branding. 6.2 Understanding employee engagement. Employee engagement is the emotional commitment an employee has toward the organization and its goals. Engaged employees go beyond minimum job requirements, exhibit higher productivity and creativity, act as brand ambassadors for the company. 6.3 Theories of motivation. Foundation for engagement. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Engagement requires meeting basic needs, salary, safety, before higher-level needs, recognition, self-actualization. Herzberg's two-factor theory. Hygiene factors, pay, work conditions, policies, prevent dissatisfaction. Motivators, recognition, growth, meaningful work, create satisfaction. Self-determination theory. Employees are motivated by autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Social exchange theory. Engagement is a reciprocal relationship. When employees feel valued, they give discretionary effort in return. 6.4 Drivers of employee engagement. Purpose and meaning. Employees want to work for organizations with a clear mission. Leadership quality. Trust in leaders drives engagement. Recognition and reward. Regular acknowledgement of contributions. Career growth opportunities. Clear pathways for advancement. Work-life balance and well-being. Flexibility and mental health support. Manager relationship. Quality of direct supervisor is a top predictor of engagement. Inclusion and belonging. Diverse, respectful, and fair work environment. 6.5 Measuring engagement. Common tools. Engagement surveys. Annual or pulse surveys measuring satisfaction, commitment, advocacy. ENPS, Employee Net Promoter Score, measures likelihood of recommending the organization as a place to work. Turnover and absenteeism rates, indirect indicators of engagement health. Performance and productivity metrics, engaged teams often outperform others. 6.6 Retention strategy. Retention goes hand in hand with engagement. Key retention levers include 1. Competitive compensation and benefits. Fair and transparent pay structures. Comprehensive benefits, healthcare, retirement, wellness programs. 2. Career development. Training, mentorship, and promotions to keep employees challenged. Internal mobility programs to allow lateral movement. 3. Recognition and appreciation. Peer-to-peer recognition platforms. Formal awards programs for top performers. 4. Workplace culture. Psychological safety for employees to share ideas. Values-driven culture where employees feel proud to work. 5. Flexibility. Hybrid work options, flexible hours, compressed work weeks. 6. Leadership and communication. Regular town halls, transparent communication from executives. Managers trained in coaching and conflict resolution. 6.7 Employee experience design. Employee engagement should be intentionally designed across the employee lifecycle. Attraction. Employer branding sets realistic expectations. Onboarding. Strong integration leads to early engagement. Development. Employees stay engaged when learning and growing. Recognition. Frequent acknowledgement reinforces commitment. Exit. Respectful offboarding keeps the door open for boomerang employees. 6.8 Key metrics for engagement and retention. Voluntary turnover rate. Target is typically less than 10 to 12%. Average tenure. Longer tenure can indicate healthy retention. Internal promotion rate. Reflects career development opportunities. Engagement survey scores. Benchmark against industry averages. Exit interview themes. Insights into why employees leave. 6.9 Case studies. Case study 1. Zappos culture as a retention tool. Challenge. Zappos wanted to create a workplace where employees love coming to work. Engagement and retention strategy. Built a culture around delivering happiness to employees and customers. Offered a quit bonus after training, encouraging only truly engaged employees to stay. Empowered employees to solve customer problems creatively. Outcome. Industry-leading customer satisfaction. Strong employee loyalty and advocacy. Low turnover compared to competitors. Case study 2. Patagonia purpose-driven engagement. Challenge. Patagonia needed to keep employees engaged while promoting sustainability. Engagement and retention strategy. Embedded environmental activism into company mission. Offered paid time off for employees to volunteer for environmental causes. Provided on-site childcare and flexible schedules. Outcome. Extremely low turnover rates. Attracted employees passionate about the company's mission. Built a strong employer brand as a socially responsible organization. Case study 3. Marriott International career pathways. Challenge. High turnover in hospitality is common, especially for frontline roles. Engagement and retention strategy. Created clear career paths from entry level to management. Invested in global training and development programs. Promoted a family-like culture with recognition programs. Outcome. Increased internal promotion rates. Higher employee engagement scores than industry averages. Strong reputation as a top employer in hospitality. 6.10 Challenges in engagement and retention. Generational differences. Different engagement drivers for Gen Z versus baby boomers. Burnout. Remote and hybrid work can blur work-life boundaries. Economic volatility. Budget cuts may affect engagement initiatives. High competition. Employees have more options in a global talent market. 6.11 Best practices. Conduct regular pulse surveys to monitor engagement. Create individualized retention plans for high-potential employees. Equip managers with tools to recognize and support their teams. Celebrate wins big and small to foster positive culture. Leverage data analytics to identify turnover risks early. 6.12 Key takeaways. Engagement and retention are strategic imperatives, not just HR programs. Motivated, committed employees directly drive customer satisfaction, innovation, and profitability. Case studies from Zappos, Patagonia, and Marriott demonstrate that culture, purpose, and growth opportunities are powerful levers for keeping top talent. SHRM leaders must design holistic employee experiences that address purpose, growth, recognition, and well-being. Chapter 7, Compensation and Reward Strategy. 7.1 Introduction. Compensation and rewards are among the most powerful levers HR can use to attract, retain, and motivate employees. In strategic human resource management, SHRM, the goal is to design a total reward strategy that aligns pay and benefits with organizational goals, reinforces desired behaviors, and remains competitive in the labor market. 7.2 The Total Rewards Model. A modern compensation strategy goes beyond base pay. It integrates 5 elements: compensation, base salary, variable pay, equity; benefits, healthcare, retirement plans, insurance, wellness; work-life balance, flexibility, PTO, remote work; recognition, formal and informal acknowledgement of contributions; development, career growth, learning opportunities. A well-balanced total rewards approach creates a compelling employee value proposition, EVP. 7.3 Objectives of a strategic compensation plan. Attract top talent, remain competitive with market pay rates. Retain high performers, provide rewards that encourage loyalty. Motivate desired behaviors, link pay to performance and company values. Ensure pay equity, promote fairness and transparency. Control costs, maintain financial sustainability. 7.4 Components of compensation strategy. 1. Base pay. Market benchmarking. Use salary surveys to remain competitive. Pay structures. Create salary bands and grades to ensure internal equity. Geographic adjustments. Reflect local cost of living differences for global workforces. 2. Variable pay. Individual incentives, bonuses for achieving personal goals. Team department incentives, encourages collaboration. Profit sharing and gain sharing, links rewards to company performance. Commission plans, for sales roles tied to revenue or quota achievement. 3. Long-term incentives. Stock options and RSUs, align employees with shareholder value. Performance shares, granted based on multi-year targets. Deferred compensation plans, encourages long-term retention. 4. Benefits. Health and wellness programs, medical, dental, mental health, fitness stipends. Retirement savings, 401k matches, pensions. Leave policies, paid parental leave, sabbaticals, volunteer days. 5. Non-monetary rewards. Career advancement opportunities. Public recognition, spot awards, shoutouts. Work flexibility and autonomy. 7.5 Pay for performance. A strategic reward system links individual contributions to business outcomes. Best practices. Set clear, measurable performance goals. Use objective data to determine bonuses. Communicate the connection between performance and pay. Ensure high performers are differentiated from average contributors. 7.6 Ensuring pay equity and transparency. Conduct regular pay equity audits to identify gaps by gender, ethnicity, and role. Establish transparent pay ranges for all levels. Communicate pay philosophy openly to build trust. Address disparities proactively to prevent disengagement or legal risks. 7.7 Metrics for compensation effectiveness. Compensation ratio, compa ratio, employee pay compared to market midpoint. Pay equity index, measures fairness across demographics. Incentive payout accuracy, alignment of rewards with actual performance. Employee perception surveys, understand how employees view pay fairness. Retention of high performers, key indicator of whether rewards are effective. 7.8 Case studies. Case study 1 Google, Total Rewards Philosophy. Challenge: Google needed to retain top talent in a fiercely competitive tech market. Compensation strategy. designed a comprehensive total rewards package, including competitive salaries, bonuses, equity grants, and generous benefits. Provided unique perks, free meals, wellness programs, on-site childcare. Used pay transparency to communicate the value of rewards. Outcome: maintained high employee satisfaction and low turnover rates. Strengthened employer brand as a top place to work. Reinforced culture of innovation by rewarding performance and risk-taking. Case Study 2: Salesforce Pay Equity Commitment. Challenge: Salesforce discovered gender-based pay disparities after a company-wide audit. Compensation strategy: invested $3 million plus to adjust salaries and eliminate disparities. Committed to annual pay equity reviews. Publicly reported progress to increase accountability. Outcome: achieved and maintained near complete pay equity. Strengthened trust and employee engagement. Became a leader in advocating for workplace fairness. Case Study 3: Starbucks Employee Stock Ownership. Challenge: Starbucks wanted to create a sense of ownership among its largely hourly workforce. Compensation strategy: introduced the Bean Stock Program, granting stock options to baristas. Provided comprehensive healthcare benefits, even for part-time employees. Offered tuition reimbursement programs for career growth. Outcome: built a loyal, engaged workforce despite high turnover industry norms. Enhanced reputation as a socially responsible employer. Increased employee retention and service quality. 7.9 Challenges in compensation strategy. Pay compression, when new hires earn as much as or more than tenured employees. Global complexity, managing currency differences, taxation and compliance across countries. Inflation and market volatility, maintaining competitiveness while controlling costs. Overemphasis on pay, risk of neglecting non-monetary motivators like culture and career growth. 7.10 Best practices. Review compensation structures annually against market benchmarks. Communicate clearly about how pay is determined. Balance short-term and long-term incentives. Combine monetary and non-monetary rewards to address different motivators. Integrate rewards with performance management and career development plans. 7.11 Key takeaways. A well-designed compensation and reward strategy is critical to attracting and keeping top talent. Total rewards go beyond pay; they encompass benefits, recognition, growth, and culture. Case studies from Google, Salesforce, and Starbucks show that fair, transparent, and inclusive reward systems build trust and engagement. SHRM leaders must strike a balance between market competitiveness, internal equity, and organizational sustainability. Chapter 8: Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Belonging DEIB Strategy. 8.1 Introduction. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging (DEIB) have become strategic priorities for organizations seeking to attract top talent, foster innovation, and serve increasingly diverse markets. In strategic human resource management (SHRM), DEIB is not just a moral imperative, it is a business driver that impacts performance, reputation, and long-term competitiveness. 8.2 Defining DEIB. 8.3 The business case for DEIB. Research shows that DEIB leads to measurable business benefits. Innovation and creativity. Diverse teams generate better solutions and new ideas. Talent attraction and retention. Inclusive cultures appeal to top talent. Market relevance. Organizations better understand diverse customers. Financial performance. McKinsey studies show diverse companies outperform peers in profitability by up to 25%. 8.4 Key objectives of a DEIB strategy. Representation. Increase diversity across all levels, including leadership. Fair processes. Remove bias from hiring, promotions, and pay decisions. Inclusive culture. Ensure employees feel safe to express themselves. Accountability. Set measurable goals and track progress transparently. Education and awareness. Build cultural competence across the organization. 8.5 Building a DEIB strategy, step by step. Step 1. Assess the current state. Conduct diversity audits, demographics, pay equity, promotion rates. Run employee surveys to measure inclusion and belonging. Benchmark against industry and competitors. Step 2. Define goals and KPIs. Representation targets, e.g., women in leadership, underrepresented minorities in technical roles. Pay equity metrics. Inclusion scores in engagement surveys. Leadership participation in DEI programs. Step 3. Implement initiatives. Inclusive hiring practices, blind resumes, diverse panels. Employee resource groups, ERGs for affinity communities. Leadership training on unconscious bias and inclusive behaviors. Career development programs for underrepresented groups. Step 4. Embed DEI into culture. Celebrate cultural events and diversity milestones. Integrate inclusion into performance reviews and leadership metrics. Encourage allyship and sponsorship across teams. Step 5. Monitor and communicate progress. Publish annual DEI reports. Share stories of impact and success. Adjust initiatives based on data and feedback. 8.6 DEIB frameworks. Paradigm model of DEI. Discrimination and fairness, focuses on compliance and representation. Access and legitimacy, emphasizes diverse perspectives for market advantage. Learning and effectiveness, fully integrates diversity into work practices to drive learning and performance. McKinsey's inclusion drivers. Leadership commitment, fairness, openness, belonging, and growth opportunities are key to sustained inclusion. 8.7 Metrics for DEIB success. Representation percentages across levels and functions. Pay equity and promotion rates for underrepresented groups. Inclusion index survey-based. Participation in ERGs and DEI training. Retention rates of diverse employees. 8.8 Case studies. Case Study 1, Microsoft, Disability Inclusion. Challenge. Microsoft recognized the need to create products and workplaces accessible to people with disabilities. DEIB strategy. Established an inclusive hiring program for neurodiverse talent, autism hiring program. Built accessibility features into products, narrator eye tracking tools. Created an accessibility innovation lab for employees to co-create solutions. Outcome. Improved product usability for millions of users. Increased innovation through diverse perspectives. Enhanced reputation as an inclusive employer. Case Study 2, Accenture, Transparency and Accountability. Challenge. Accenture wanted to build a more diverse workforce and hold leadership accountable. DEIB strategy. Publicly set diversity goals and reported progress annually. Introduced mandatory inclusion and bias training. Linked executive bonuses to DEI outcomes. Outcome. Achieved gender-balanced workforce globally ahead of schedule. Strengthened trust among employees and stakeholders. Became a top-ranked employer for diversity worldwide. Case Study 3, Ben & Jerry's Social Justice Advocacy. Challenge. Ben & Jerry's aim to live its values by advocating for social change. DEIB strategy. Took public stances on racial justice and climate activism. Embedded social justice in product campaigns and employee programs. Supported grassroots organizations and community initiatives. Outcome. Built a purpose-driven brand that resonates with employees and consumers. Attracted talent, passionate about social impact. Maintained strong employee engagement scores. 8.9 Challenges in DEIB. Tokenism. risk of focusing on representation without inclusion. Change resistance. Employees may view DEI efforts as favoritism. Data limitations. Privacy laws may restrict demographic data collection. Global complexity. Cultural norms differ across geographies. 8.10 Best practices. Engage executive sponsorship for credibility and funding. Use data analytics to identify barriers and measure progress. Create safe spaces for dialogue about diversity and inclusion. Celebrate progress publicly, while acknowledging work still to be done. Regularly refresh initiatives to reflect evolving employee needs and social context. 8.11 Key takeaways. DEIB is a business-critical strategy, not a side project. A successful DEIB program goes beyond representation. It creates a culture of equity and belonging. Case studies from Microsoft, Accenture, and Ben & Jerry's show that intentional, transparent, and values-driven approaches deliver strong cultural and business outcomes. SHRM leaders must champion DEIB as a core part of organizational strategy, embedding it in every HR practice from hiring to promotions to leadership development. Chapter 9. HR Analytics and Data-Driven Decision-Making. 9.1 Introduction. Human resource management has shifted from being purely operational to becoming a strategic partner that drives business outcomes. This evolution is powered by HR analytics, the use of data, metrics, and advanced analysis to improve talent-related decision-making. HR analytics allows organizations to make evidence-based workforce decisions, predict future talent needs, measure the ROI of HR programs, align people strategy with business strategy. 9.2 What is HR analytics? HR analytics, also called people analytics or workforce analytics, is the systematic collection, analysis, and interpretation of HR data to improve workforce performance. Levels of HR analytics. Descriptive analytics, what happened? E.g., turnover last year. Diagnostic analytics, why did it happen? E.g., exit interviews, engagement surveys. Predictive analytics, what is likely to happen? E.g., flight risk models. Prescriptive analytics, what should we do? E.g., targeted retention strategies. 9.3 Key HR metrics. Recruitment. Time to fill. Quality of hire. Cost per hire. Offer acceptance rate. Engagement and retention. Voluntary turnover rate. Employee Net Promoter Score, ENPS. Absenteeism rate. Average tenure. Performance. High performer retention rate. Goal completion rates. Productivity per employee. Learning and development. Training ROI. Skill utilization rates. Participation and completion rates. Compensation. Compa ratio. Pay equity index. Incentive payout versus performance. 9.4 Hour data sources. HRIS, Human Resource Information Systems, Core Employee Data. ATS, Applicant Tracking System, Recruitment Data. LMS, Learning Management System, Training Metrics. Engagement Platforms, Survey Results, Feedback Tools. Payroll and Finance Systems, Compensation Data. External Benchmarks, Industry Compensation Surveys, Labor Market Data. 9.5 Building an HR Analytics Capability. Step 1 Define business questions. Example, what factors are most strongly associated with voluntary turnover? Step 2 Gather and clean data. Ensure data integrity, completeness, and compliance with privacy regulations, GDPR, CCPA. Step 3 Analyze data. Use statistical methods, correlation, regression, or machine learning models for prediction. Step 4 Visualize findings. Build dashboards that communicate insights clearly to executives. Step 5. Take action. Implement programs based on insights, e.g., targeted retention bonuses for high-risk groups. Step 6. Measure impact. Track results over time and refine interventions. 9.6-hour dashboards. Well-designed dashboards provide leaders with real-time insights. Key elements include headcount trends and workforce demographics, diversity representation by level, turnover and retention analytics, recruiting pipeline status, learning progress and skills coverage, compensation distribution, and pay equity analysis. 9.7 Predictive analytics in HR. Predictive analytics helps organizations look forward, not backward. Examples: flight risk modeling, identifying employees likely to resign in the next 6 to 12 months. Succession planning, predicting readiness of future leaders. Recruitment forecasting, estimating future hiring needs based on growth plans. Workforce planning, modeling scenarios for headcount under different business conditions. 9.8 Challenges in HR analytics. Data quality issues, inconsistent or incomplete employee data. Privacy concerns, must balance insight with employee confidentiality. Change resistance, leaders may distrust data-driven recommendations. Skill gaps, HR teams may lack data science and analytics expertise. 9.9 Best practices. Start small, focus on 1 or 2 key business problems. Build cross-functional teams, hour plus it plus finance plus data science. Maintain data governance, and adhere to privacy regulations. Communicate insights with business context, not just numbers. Train HR professionals in data literacy. 9.10 Case studies. Case Study 1 Google Project Oxygen. Challenge: Google wanted to understand what made managers effective. HR analytics approach. Collected performance reviews, feedback surveys, and retention data. Used statistical analysis to identify behaviors of high-performing managers. Findings: coaching and communication skills were the strongest predictors of team performance. Technical expertise was less important than expected. Outcome: redesigned management training programs. Improved manager effectiveness scores and employee engagement. Case Study 2 IBM Predictive Turnover Analytics. Challenge: IBM faced increasing voluntary attrition among technical employees. HR analytics approach. Built a machine learning model analyzing over 50 employee attributes, tenure, skills, engagement scores. Predicted employees at risk of leaving with 95% accuracy. Outcome: enabled targeted retention interventions. Saved an estimated $300 million in turnover-related costs. Case Study 3 UPS Workforce Optimization. Challenge: UPS needed to optimize workforce schedules and reduce overtime costs. HR analytics approach. Used big data and analytics to forecast package volume and staffing needs. Automated scheduling to match workforce levels with demand. Outcome: reduced overtime expenses by millions annually. Improved employee work-life balance. Increased operational efficiency. 9.11 Key takeaways. HR analytics transforms HR from a reactive function to a strategic driver of business results. Organizations can use descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics to optimize hiring, engagement, retention, and performance. Case studies from Google, IBM, and UPS show the tangible ROI of data-driven hour. SHRM leaders must invest in technology, skills, and data governance to unlock the full potential of HR analytics. Chapter 10: HR Technology and Digital Transformation. 10.1 Introduction. Technology has reshaped nearly every business function, and human resources is no exception. Today's HR leaders must leverage digital tools not only to automate transactions, but also to deliver strategic value, enhance the employee experience, and support data-driven decision-making. HR digital transformation refers to the integration of technology across HR processes to make them more efficient, intelligent, and employee-centric. 10.2 Drivers of HR digital transformation. Remote and hybrid work. Accelerated need for digital collaboration tools. Employee expectations. Demand for consumer-grade technology experiences. Data-driven HR. Need for analytics to inform decisions. Scalability. Technology enables global consistency and compliance. Cost efficiency. Automation reduces administrative workload. 10.3 Core HR technology landscape. 1. HRIS, Human Resource Information System. Central repository for employee data. Manages payroll, benefits, compliance, and reporting. Examples: Workday, SAP SuccessFactors, Oracle HCM. 2. ATS, Applicant Tracking System. Automates recruitment workflows. Features include job posting, candidate screening, interview scheduling. Examples: Greenhouse, Lever, Taleo. 3. LMS, Learning Management System. Enables delivery and tracking of training programs. Integrates with career development paths. Examples: Cornerstone, Docebo, Moodle. 4. Performance management platforms. Continuous feedback, goal setting, OKRs, and reviews. Supports real-time coaching and recognition. Examples: Lattice 15.5, Betterworks. 5. Engagement and collaboration tools. Pulse surveys, chatbots, social recognition. Digital communities to foster belonging. Examples: Culture Amp, Bonusly, Microsoft Teams, Slack. 6. Payroll and workforce management. Automates time tracking, scheduling, and compliance. Examples: ADP, Kronos, Paycom. 10.4 Emerging technologies in HR. Artificial intelligence, AI. Resume screening, chatbots for candidate queries. Predictive analytics for attrition and performance. Machine learning. Personalized learning recommendations. Dynamic compensation optimization. Robotic process automation, RPA. Automates repetitive tasks like onboarding paperwork. Virtual and augmented reality, VR, AR. Immersive training simulations, safety, technical skills. Blockchain. Secure credential verification and background checks. People analytics platforms. Advanced modeling for workforce planning. 10.5 Digital employee experience, DEX. Digital transformation isn't just about automation, it's about employee experience. Consumer-grade UX, HR tech should be as intuitive as the apps employees use daily. Self-service portals empower employees to manage benefits, schedules, and learning. Personalization. AI-driven dashboards showing relevant tasks and opportunities. Integration. Seamless experience across HRIS, ATS, LMS, and collaboration tools. 10.6 Implementation Roadmap. Step 1. Assess current state. Audit existing systems, processes, and pain points. Step 2. Define goals. Example: reduce onboarding time by 30%, improve engagement scores, or automate payroll processing. Step 3. Select technology. Evaluate vendors based on functionality, scalability, integration, and user experience. Step 4. Change management. Communicate purpose and benefits to employees. Train HR teams and end users. Step 5. Pilot and scale. Test with a small group before organization-wide rollout. Step 6. Measure ROI. Track efficiency gains, adoption rates, and business impact. 10.7 Our digital transformation challenges. Integration complexity. Multiple systems may not communicate seamlessly. Data privacy. GDPR, CCPA compliance must be ensured. Employee adoption. Resistance to new tools can undermine success. Cost and ROI. High initial investment must deliver measurable returns. Skill gaps. HR professionals may need training in tech and analytics. 10.8 Best Practices. Design a digital-first HR strategy aligned with business goals. Prioritize user experience to ensure high adoption. Partner with IT and finance for smooth integration. Start with high-impact processes, e.g., recruiting, onboarding. Continuously monitor and optimize systems with employee feedback. 10.9 Case Studies. Case Study 1, Unilever, Digital HR Transformation. Challenge: Unilever wanted to modernize its HR processes across 190+ countries. HR Tech Strategy. Deployed a global HRIS, Workday, to unify employee data. Used AI-powered recruitment tools to screen over 1 million job applications annually. Introduced personalized learning through a digital platform. Outcome: reduced hiring bias and time to fill roles. Increased learning engagement rates. Enhanced employee experience with a single self-service portal. Case Study 2, Deloitte, Virtual Reality Training. Challenge: Deloitte needed to scale leadership training for a dispersed workforce. HR Tech Strategy. Developed VR simulations for leadership development. Allowed employees to practice real-world scenarios in a risk-free environment. Outcome: increased retention of learning content. Reduced travel costs for in-person training. Improved leadership readiness across global offices. Case Study 3, Workday, Predictive Insights. Challenge: Workday wanted to showcase the power of its own platform internally. HR Tech Strategy. Implemented predictive analytics to forecast employee attrition. Used machine learning to recommend internal mobility opportunities. Outcome: reduced voluntary turnover by targeting at-risk employees with career paths. Boosted internal promotion rates. Demonstrated ROI of HR technology investment. 10.10 Key Takeaways. HR technology is a strategic enabler, not just an operational tool. Digital transformation should prioritize employee experience, not just process automation. Case studies from Unilever, Deloitte, and Workday show that well-executed HR tech initiatives deliver measurable gains in efficiency, engagement, and retention. SHRM leaders must champion a tech-savvy HR function to keep pace with digital workplaces and global competition. Chapter 11: Global HR Strategy and Cross-Cultural Management. 11.1 Introduction. As businesses expand into international markets, HR must adapt to the complexities of managing a global workforce. Global HR strategy involves designing policies, systems, and practices that balance consistency with local adaptation, ensuring that talent programs align with both corporate strategy and cultural realities. Cross-cultural management becomes essential to build inclusive, high-performing global teams, navigate cultural differences in communication, leadership, and motivation, ensure compliance with international labor laws and practices. 11.2 Key elements of a global HR strategy. Global workforce planning aligns talent supply with business expansion plans, anticipates needs for expatriates, local hires, and remote teams. Standardization versus localization. Identify which policies should be global, e.g., ethics code, performance principles, versus local, e.g., benefits, holidays. Global mobility and expatriate management. Develop programs for relocating talent, including visas, relocation support, and cultural training. Compliance and risk management. Navigate labor laws, tax regulations, data privacy, GDPR, and employment contracts across multiple jurisdictions. Diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) on a global scale. Adjust DEI programs to reflect local cultural and legal contexts. 11.3 Cross-cultural management basics. Hofstede's cultural dimensions. Geert Hofstede's model helps HR leaders understand cultural differences. Power distance, acceptance of hierarchy. Individualism versus collectivism, emphasis on individual versus group goals. Uncertainty avoidance, comfort with risk and ambiguity. Masculinity versus femininity, competitive versus cooperative culture. Long-term orientation, focus on future planning versus short-term results. Indulgence versus restraint, attitudes toward leisure and gratification. Trompenaars, 7 dimensions. Adds insights into communication styles, time orientation, and relationship building across cultures. 11.4 Challenges in global HR. Regulatory complexity. Labor laws vary widely, e.g., termination rules in Europe versus the US. Cultural misalignment. Misinterpretations due to communication style differences. Compensation variability. Market rates differ across countries. Talent shortages. In-demand skills may not be locally available. Remote work management. Coordinating teams across time zones. 11.5 Expatriate management. 1. Expatriate selection. Assess cultural adaptability, language skills, and family readiness. 2. Pre-departure preparation. Provide cross-cultural training, language instruction, and relocation support. 3. Compensation and benefits. Offer competitive expatriate packages, hardship allowances, housing, schooling. 4. Ongoing support. Assign mentors, maintain regular communication with HQ, assist with tax visa compliance. 5. Repatriation. Plan career paths post-assignment to avoid attrition when employees return home. 11.6 Building cultural intelligence, CQ. Cultural intelligence is the ability to work effectively across cultures. It consists of CQ drive, motivation to learn about other cultures. CQ knowledge, understanding cultural norms and values. CQ strategy, ability to plan for cross-cultural interactions. CQ action, adaptation of behavior to different cultural contexts. 11.7 Metrics for global HR effectiveness. Global headcount by region and function. Cost of expatriate programs versus ROI. Diversity representation across geographies. Retention rates of expatriates and global hires. Engagement scores of multicultural teams. 11.8 Best practices. Use global HRIS platforms to unify data and improve visibility. Create centers of excellence, COEs, for consistent global hour policy development. Invest in cultural competence training for managers and leaders. Partner with local HR experts to ensure compliance and cultural relevance. Foster a global mindset through international assignments, job rotations, and virtual collaboration. 11.9 Case studies. Case Study 1, IBM Global Workforce Integration. Challenge: IBM operates in 170+ countries and needed to standardize HR processes while respecting local requirements. Global HR strategy. Implemented a single global hour platform to unify employee data. Established global job architecture with consistent role definitions. Created regional HR teams to adapt programs locally. Outcome: improved workforce planning accuracy. Increased internal mobility across geographies. Enhanced employee experience with consistent policies worldwide. Case Study 2, Nestlé Expatriate Management Excellence. Challenge: Nestlé needed to develop future leaders with global exposure. Global HR strategy. Launched international trainee programs for young managers. Structured expatriate assignments with robust relocation support. Created a formal repatriation program to place returning employees in leadership roles. Outcome. Developed a strong pipeline of global leaders. Achieved high retention rates among expatriates. Strengthened Nestlé's reputation as a career-building organization. Case Study 3: Siemens, Cross-Cultural Collaboration. Challenge: Siemens had to integrate employees from multiple cultures after mergers and acquisitions. Global HR strategy. Provided cross-cultural team training to improve collaboration. Used virtual collaboration platforms to connect global teams. Encouraged job rotations between countries. Outcome. Improved teamwork across borders. Reduced misunderstandings and project delays. Increased innovation from diverse, integrated teams. 11.10 Key Takeaways. Global HR strategy balances standardization for efficiency and local adaptation for relevance. Cross-cultural competence is critical for managing diverse distributed teams. Expatriate programs must be carefully managed to deliver ROI and retain global talent. Case studies from IBM, Nestlé, and Siemens show that data-driven planning, cultural intelligence, and consistent global processes are key to success. Chapter 12: Change Management and Organizational Development. 12.1 Introduction. In a rapidly changing business environment, organizations must continuously adapt, transform, and innovate to survive. Change management and organizational development, OD, are critical areas where HR plays a strategic leadership role. Change management is the process of helping individuals, teams, and organizations transition from the current state to a desired future state. Organizational development is the planned, systematic effort to improve an organization's effectiveness and health through interventions in its processes, structure, and culture. SHRM professionals are uniquely positioned to guide transformation efforts by aligning people, processes, and culture with business strategy. 12.2 The nature of organizational change. Types of change. Incremental change. Small continuous improvements, e.g., process optimization. Transformational change, large-scale shifts, e.g., digital transformation, M&A. Reactive change, responding to external pressures, e.g., regulation, market disruption. Proactive change, initiating change to create competitive advantage. 12.3 HR's role in change management. Strategic partner. Collaborate with executives to shape change strategy. Communicator. Deliver clear, consistent messaging to employees. Coach. Support leaders in driving and modeling change. Employee advocate. Address employee concerns and manage resistance. Capability builder. Provide training to build change resilience. 12.4 Change management frameworks. 1. Kotter's 8-step change model. Create urgency. Build a guiding coalition. Form a strategic vision. Communicate the vision. Remove obstacles. Generate short-term wins. Sustain acceleration. Anchor changes in culture. 2. ADKAR model. Awareness. Understand why change is needed. Desire. Build motivation to participate. Knowledge. Provide training and information. Ability. Ensure capability to implement change. Reinforcement. Sustain change over time. 3. Lewin's change model. Unfreeze. Prepare the organization for change. Change. Implement new behaviors and processes. Refreeze. Reinforce and stabilize the new state. 12.5 Organizational development, OD. OD focuses on long-term organizational health through culture change, building trust, collaboration, innovation. Process redesign, improving workflows and decision-making. Leadership development, growing future-ready leaders. Team development, improving team effectiveness and collaboration. Employee engagement, creating a sense of purpose and commitment. 12.6 Key tools and interventions. Organizational assessments, culture surveys, employee feedback, process audits. Team interventions, off-sites, team building workshops, conflict resolution. Leadership development programs, coaching, 360-degree feedback. Job redesign, aligning roles with new strategies. Communication plans, multi-channel messaging to build buy-in. 12.7 Managing resistance to change. Common sources of resistance. Fear of the unknown. Loss of job security or status. Lack of trust in leadership. Poor communication. Strategies to overcome resistance. Involve employees early in the process. Provide transparent, frequent updates. Offer training and support. Recognize and reward early adopters. Address emotional and psychological impacts. 12.8 Metrics for change success. Adoption rates of new processes, systems. Employee engagement and sentiment scores during change. Productivity and performance post-implementation. Retention of key talent during transition. Achievement of business outcomes tied to change. 12.9 Case studies. Case Study 1, Microsoft Cultural Transformation. Challenge: Microsoft faced a declining growth trajectory and internal silos before Satya Nadella became CEO in 2014. Change strategy: shifted culture from know-it-all to learn-it-all. Emphasized growth mindset across all levels. Encouraged cross-team collaboration and customer obsession. Outcome: significant increase in employee engagement. Renewed innovation, leading to growth in cloud business. Market capitalization grew from $300 billion in 2014 to over $2 trillion. Case Study 2, Netflix Reinvention through Culture. Challenge: Netflix had to pivot from DVD rentals to streaming and later to content creation to survive disruption. Change strategy: developed a freedom and responsibility culture. Instituted radical transparency about performance expectations. Encouraged agility and experimentation. Outcome: smooth transition to a streaming-first business model. Became a global leader in original content. Attracted top creative and tech talent due to its empowering culture. Case Study 3, Lego Organizational Turnaround. Challenge: Lego faced near bankruptcy in early 2000s due to overexpansion and complexity. Change strategy: simplified product portfolio and refocused on core strengths. Engaged employees in brainstorming solutions, Lego ideas. Built strong collaboration between designers, marketers, and customers. Outcome: return to profitability within a few years. Became one of the most respected toy brands globally. Strengthened culture of innovation and employee involvement. 12.10 Best practices. Start with clear business objectives for change. Communicate early and often to minimize uncertainty. Use change champions to influence peers. Provide training and resources to build capability. Celebrate quick wins to build momentum. Embed changes into policies, processes, and culture for sustainability. 12.11 Key takeaways. Change management and OD are essential for organizational survival and growth. HR plays a critical role in aligning people, culture, and processes with strategic change. Proven frameworks like Kotter's 8-step model and IDCAR provide roadmaps for success. Case studies from Microsoft, Netflix, and Lego demonstrate that culture change, communication, and employee involvement are key drivers of transformation success. Chapter 13: Leadership Development and Succession Planning. 13.1 Introduction. Sustainable business success depends on the quality of leadership at every level. Leadership development and succession planning are strategic HR priorities designed to ensure a strong talent pipeline, reduce risks of leadership gaps, and prepare the organization for future challenges. Leadership development focuses on equipping individuals with the skills, behaviors, and mindsets needed to lead effectively. Succession planning ensures that key roles, from frontline supervisors to C-suite executives, have ready-now successors to maintain business continuity. 13.2 The strategic importance of leadership development. Performance driver. Strong leadership directly correlates with employee engagement, productivity, and innovation. Risk mitigation. Avoids disruption caused by sudden leadership departures. Cultural stewardship. Leaders shape and sustain organizational culture. Future-proofing. Prepares the company for industry shifts, digital transformation, and new business models. 13.3 Core elements of a leadership development program. 1. Competency frameworks. Define leadership behaviors required for success, e.g., strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, decision-making. Tailor to different levels, frontline, mid-level, senior executives. 2. Learning modalities. Formal learning, leadership academies, workshops, e-learning. Experiential learning, job rotations, stretch assignments, special projects. Mentoring and coaching, one-on-one development from experienced leaders. Peer learning, action learning teams, leadership circles. 3. Leadership assessment tools. 360-degree feedback. Personality and behavioral assessments, MBTI Hogan DISC. Potential and performance ratings, 9-box grid. 4. Individual development plans, IDPs. Personalized roadmaps with goals, timelines, and milestones. Regular review and adjustment based on progress. 13.4 Succession planning process. Identify critical roles. Focus on roles that significantly impact business strategy and performance. Define success profiles. Outline competencies, experiences, and leadership capabilities required. Assess current talent. Use performance data, potential assessments, and manager input. Create talent pools. Build a pipeline of high-potential employees for each critical role. Develop successors. Provide targeted development opportunities to prepare them for readiness. Monitor and review. Conduct regular talent reviews to update succession plans and adjust strategies. 13.5 High potential, HYPO programs. HYPO programs accelerate the growth of employees with exceptional potential. Selection criteria: performance, learning agility, cultural fit, aspiration. Development path: fast-track rotations, mentorship from senior leaders, strategic projects. Retention strategies: career progression plans, recognition and engagement efforts. 13.6 Challenges in leadership development and succession planning. Bias in talent identification: risk of overlooking diverse or unconventional leaders. Short-term focus: organizations sometimes prioritize immediate needs over future pipeline. Leadership gap at middle levels: frozen middle can slow cultural or strategic change. Global scalability: developing leaders consistently across geographies. Retention of high potentials: high POS may leave if growth opportunities are lacking. 13.7 Metrics for success. Bench strength for key roles, ready-now successors. Internal promotion rate versus external hires for leadership roles. Retention rate of HYPO talent. Leadership effectiveness scores, 360 feedback. Business performance indicators tied to leadership programs. 13.8 Best practices. Align programs with strategy. Develop leaders for the future business model, not just today's. Make leadership development continuous. Build learning into daily work, not just formal events. Involve senior executives. C-suite sponsorship ensures buy-in and modeling of desired behaviors. Leverage data analytics. Use predictive analytics to identify potential and assess readiness. Promote diversity and inclusion. Ensure leadership pipelines reflect workforce and customer demographics. 13.9 Case Studies. Case Study 1, GE, Crotonville Leadership Development. Challenge: GE needed to maintain a strong pipeline of leaders capable of managing a diverse global business. Solution: established Crotonville, GE's corporate university, to provide immersive leadership development. Implemented the Session C process for annual talent reviews and succession planning. Outcome: produced generations of top executives, including CEOs of other Fortune 500 companies. Built a culture that valued continuous learning and leadership excellence. Case Study 2, Procter & Gamble Build from Within Strategy. Challenge: P&G wanted a sustainable leadership pipeline aligned with its Promote from Within philosophy. Solution: identified high-potential talent early in their careers. Developed a systematic process for rotating employees through multiple functions and geographies. Embedded leadership development in every stage of the employee life cycle. Outcome: over 90% of P&G's managers and executives are promoted internally. Created strong cultural continuity and deep organizational knowledge. Case Study 3, Apple Leadership for Innovation. Challenge: Apple's success depends on maintaining its culture of innovation while scaling globally. Solution: developed programs to foster creative problem-solving and cross-functional collaboration. Invested in leadership development for engineering, design and product teams. Used succession planning to prepare leaders capable of continuing Steve Jobs' innovation legacy. Outcome: sustained innovation pipeline with breakthrough products post-2011. Maintained strong brand identity and employee commitment to excellence. 13.10 Key Takeaways. Leadership development and succession planning are strategic imperatives, not optional HR programs. Competency frameworks, HYPO programs, and targeted development pathways build future-ready leaders. Case studies from GE, P&G, and Apple highlight that organizations with structured long-term approaches outperform peers in talent readiness and business results. Chapter 14, Employee Engagement and Retention Strategies. 14.1 Introduction. Employee engagement is one of the most critical drivers of organizational success. Engaged employees are emotionally committed to their work and the company's mission, leading to higher productivity, lower turnover, and better customer satisfaction. Retention strategies go hand in hand with engagement efforts, keeping top talent motivated, satisfied, and growing within the organization. 14.2 Defining employee engagement. Gallup defines employee engagement as the involvement and enthusiasm of employees in their work and workplace. Engagement is more than job satisfaction. It reflects discretionary effort, passion, and alignment with organizational goals. 14.3 Benefits of engagement. Increased productivity. Engaged employees are 21% more productive, Gallup research. Lower turnover. Highly engaged teams have 59% lower turnover. Better financial results. Organizations with top quartile engagement achieve 23% higher profitability. Stronger employer brand. Engaged employees act as brand ambassadors, improving talent attraction. 14.4 Engagement drivers. 1. Purpose and meaning. Clear mission and values. Employees understand how their work contributes to the bigger picture. 2. Leadership and management quality. Managers provide direction, feedback, and support. Leadership communicates openly and inspires trust. 3. Career growth and development. Opportunities for learning, skill building, and advancement. 4. Recognition and rewards. Regular acknowledgement of contributions. Fair compensation and benefits. 5. Work-life balance. Flexible work arrangements. Respect for personal time. 6. Workplace culture. Psychological safety, inclusion, and collaboration. Alignment between stated values and actual practices. 14.5 Engagement models. Gallup Q12. A research-backed set of 12 questions measuring engagement, focusing on clarity, recognition, development, and belonging. Aon Hewitt Engagement Model. Include say advocacy, stay commitment, and strive discretionary effort. Employee Net Promoter Score, ENPS. Simple metric asking, how likely are you to recommend this company as a great place to work? 14.6 Retention strategies. Onboarding excellence. Strong first impression, clear expectations, cultural immersion. Career development. Learning paths, mentoring, job rotations. Competitive compensation. Regular market benchmarking, performance-linked rewards. Recognition programs. Peer-to-peer recognition, spot bonuses, public acknowledgement. Well-being and work-life integration. Mental health programs, flexible scheduling, hybrid work policies. Employee voice. Regular feedback channels, town halls, employee resource groups. Inclusive culture. Day initiatives that make all employees feel valued and respected. 14.7 HR's role in engagement. Measure engagement, surveys, focus groups, analytics. Analyze data. Identify key drivers and hotspots of disengagement. Develop action plans. Partner with leaders to address issues. Enable managers. Provide tools for effective coaching and feedback. Track progress. Monitor engagement trends over time. 14.8 Common engagement pitfalls. Focusing on perks instead of meaningful work. Running surveys without acting on feedback. Ignoring middle managers' role in engagement. Overlooking diversity and inclusion in engagement strategies. Measuring engagement once a year without continuous feedback. 14.9 Metrics for engagement and retention. Engagement score improvement over time. Voluntary turnover rate, overall and for top talent. Average tenure by role and department. Internal mobility rate, career progression. ENPS score trends. 14.10 Case studies. Case study 1, Google, building a culture of engagement. Challenge, as Google scaled, it needed to maintain high engagement while growing rapidly. Solution. Implemented Project Oxygen, to identify behaviors of effective managers. Focused on psychological safety and empowering teams. Offered extensive learning and development opportunities. Outcome. Consistently ranked among the best places to work. Low voluntary attrition, compared to industry averages. High levels of innovation and collaboration. Case study 2, Zappos culture as a retention driver. Challenge, in a highly competitive retail industry, Zappos needed to attract and retain top talent. Solution. Created a culture centered on delivering happiness to employees and customers. Offered new hires a quit bonus to ensure cultural fit early on. Encouraged autonomy and fun at work. Outcome. Exceptional employee engagement scores. Customer service became a competitive differentiator. Strong employer brand attracted like-minded talent. Case study 3, Salesforce, employee experience at scale. Challenge, Salesforce needed to maintain engagement across a global, rapidly expanding workforce. Solution. Launched Ohana Culture, emphasizing family, trust, and inclusion. Invested in employee resource groups, ERGs, and well-being programs. Conducted regular pulse surveys and acted on feedback. Outcome: high employee satisfaction and low turnover. Recognized as one of the world's best workplaces by Great Place to Work. Improved representation and inclusion in leadership roles. 14.11 Best Practices. Make engagement a leadership priority, not just an HR initiative. Listen continuously through surveys, pulse checks, and open forums. Link engagement efforts to business outcomes, e.g., customer satisfaction, productivity. Empower managers to be engagement multipliers. Evolve engagement strategies as workforce demographics and expectations shift. 14.12 Key Takeaways. Engagement is a strategic lever for performance, innovation, and retention. Drivers include purpose, growth, recognition, leadership, and culture. Retention requires a holistic approach, from onboarding to career development to well-being. Case studies from Google, Zappos, and Salesforce show that organizations with strong engagement strategies outperform peers in innovation, profitability, and employee loyalty. Chapter 15: Compensation and Benefits Strategy. 15.1 Introduction. Compensation and Benefits (C&B) strategy is a cornerstone of strategic human resource management (SHRM). It goes beyond paying employees competitively. It is about designing a total reward system that attracts, motivates, and retains top talent, while aligning with business goals and financial sustainability. A well-structured C&B strategy delivers market competitiveness, internal equity, motivation and engagement, compliance with labor laws and regulations, support for organizational culture and strategy. 15.2 Total Rewards Framework. 1. Direct compensation. Base pay, fixed salary or hourly wage. Variable pay, bonuses, incentives, profit sharing. 2. Indirect compensation. Benefits, health insurance, retirement plans, paid time off. Perks, flexible work options, wellness programs, tuition reimbursement. 3. Intrinsic rewards. Recognition, career growth, purpose-driven work. 4. Work environment. Culture, leadership, flexibility, employee experience. 15.3 Designing a compensation strategy. Step 1. Align with business strategy. Understand organizational priorities, growth, cost control, innovation. Define desired outcomes, e.g., attract top engineers, retain sales talent. Step 2. Conduct market analysis. Benchmark pay against industry and geographic data. Identify positioning strategy, lead, match, or lag market. Step 3. Build pay structures. Develop salary bands based on job evaluation. Ensure internal equity and transparency. Step 4. Develop incentive plans. Short-term performance bonuses, commissions. Long-term stock options, restricted stock units, RSUs. Step 5. Integrate benefits. Health and wellness coverage. Retirement savings, 401k, pensions. Lifestyle benefits, childcare, mental health, remote work support. Step 6. Communicate clearly. Provide total reward statements. Educate employees on the value of benefits and incentives. 15.4 Principles of Effective Compensation. Equity, fairness across gender, race, and job levels. Transparency, clarity on how pay is determined. Performance linkage, rewards tied to measurable results. Flexibility, options for employees with different needs. Compliance, adherence to laws like FLSA, Equal Pay Act, GDPR for data. 15.5 Pay equity and fairness. Pay equity is a major focus area for SHRM. Conduct regular pay equity audits. Correct disparities by adjusting pay or addressing promotion gaps. Communicate progress to build trust and reinforce employer brand. 15.6 Benefits innovation trends. Personalized benefits. Cafeteria-style plans where employees choose benefits. Well-being programs. Holistic wellness, mental, physical, financial. Flexible work benefits. Stipends for home office setup, co-working space. Fertility and family support. Adoption assistance, parental leave expansion. Student loan assistance. Employer contributions to debt repayment. Sustainable benefits. Programs supporting ESG goals, green commuting incentives. 15.7 HR's role in C&B strategy. Policy design. Ensure alignment with organizational goals. Analytics. Model costs, ROI, and employee preferences. Communication. Educate employees to maximize perceived value. Compliance. Stay updated on local, state, and federal regulations. Continuous review. Adjust programs to market trends and workforce needs. 15.8 Metrics for success. Pay competitiveness versus market benchmarks. Benefits utilization rates. Employee satisfaction with total rewards. Voluntary turnover among high performers. Cost of compensation as percent of revenue. 15.9 Case studies. Case study 1. Netflix freedom and responsibility compensation. Challenge. Netflix wanted to attract and retain the best talent in a highly competitive entertainment tech market. Solution. Adopted a market-leading pay strategy, top-of-market salaries. Allowed employees to choose mix of salary versus stock options. Eliminated rigid salary bands to maximize flexibility. Outcome. Attracted top performers from competitors. Empowered employees with choice, increasing engagement. Created a culture of ownership and accountability. Case study 2. Starbucks, total rewards for frontline employees. Challenge. Starbucks needed to retain baristas and shift supervisors in a high-turnover retail environment. Solution. Offered comprehensive benefits including healthcare, stock options, bean stock, and free college tuition. Extended benefits to part-time employees, rare in retail. Outcome. Increased retention of frontline workers. Strengthened employer brand as a socially responsible company. Boosted employee loyalty and customer service quality. Case study 3. Patagonia values-driven benefits. Challenge. Patagonia wanted to align benefits with its mission of environmental stewardship. Solution. Offered on-site childcare and generous parental leave. Provided environmental internships where employees could work for NGOs while still being paid. Supported flexible schedules to encourage outdoor activity. Outcome. Achieved exceptionally low voluntary turnover, single digits. Built a strong purpose-driven culture. Became an employer of choice for sustainability-focused talent. 15.10 Best practices. Balance market competitiveness with internal equity. Avoid overpaying externally while maintaining fairness internally. Adopt a total rewards perspective. Combine pay, benefits, recognition, and career growth. Leverage technology. Use HRIS and analytics to optimize compensation planning. Promote pay transparency. Share pay ranges and career progression opportunities. Regularly review programs. Adjust for inflation, market shifts, and employee needs. 15.11 Key takeaways. A strategic C&B plan attracts, motivates, and retains top talent while aligning with business objectives. Total rewards should integrate monetary and non-monetary elements to create a compelling employee value proposition. Pay equity, transparency, and benefits innovation are essential for trust and engagement. Case studies from Netflix, Starbucks, and Patagonia show that tailored values-driven compensation strategies can boost retention and strengthen employer brand. Chapter 16. HR Analytics and People Data Strategy. 16.1 Introduction. In today's data-driven organizations, HR is no longer just a service function. It's a strategic partner that uses data to inform decision-making, improve workforce planning, and drive organizational performance. HR analytics, also called people analytics or workforce analytics, is the systematic collection, analysis, and interpretation of employee data to improve talent and business outcomes. 16.2 The evolution of HR analytics. Descriptive analytics answers what happened. Example, headcount reports turnover statistics. Diagnostic analytics answers why did it happen. Example, exit interview analysis root cause of absenteeism. Predictive analytics answers what will happen. Example, forecasting attrition risk, identifying future skill gaps. Prescriptive analytics answers what should we do about it. Example, recommending interventions to retain at-risk employees. 16.3 Key areas of HR analytics. Workforce planning, forecasting talent needs based on business growth. Recruitment analytics, time to hire, cost per hire, candidate quality. Engagement and culture, survey analysis, ENPS trends, sentiment analysis. Performance and productivity, correlation between performance ratings and business outcomes. Diversity and inclusion, representation metrics, pay equity analytics. Learning and development, ROI of training programs, skill gap analysis. Compensation analytics, pay competitiveness, incentive effectiveness. 16.4 Building a people data strategy. Step 1 Define business questions. Align analytics efforts with strategic objectives, e.g., how can we reduce turnover of top performers by 10%? Step 2 Collect high-quality data. Use HRIS, ATS, LMS, engagement surveys, and performance systems. Ensure data accuracy, consistency, and standardization. Step 3 Choose tools and technology. HR analytics platforms, e.g., Visor, Tableau, Power BI. People analytics modules within HRIS, e.g., Workday, SAP SuccessFactors. Step 4 Build analytical capability. Hire or upskill HR professionals in data analysis and storytelling. Collaborate with data scientists and business analysts. Step 5 Generate insights and recommendations. Focus on actionable insights, not just data reporting. Present findings in a clear, visual, and business-relevant format. Step 6 Measure ROI. Track impact of data-driven decisions on productivity, retention, and financial performance. 16.5 Data ethics and privacy. Responsible use of employee data is crucial. Comply with GDPR, CCPA, and other data protection laws. Maintain transparency with employees about what data is collected and why. Use anonymization and aggregation to protect individual privacy. Avoid algorithmic bias that could reinforce discrimination. 16.6 Challenges in HR analytics. Data silos, multiple systems that don't integrate. Data quality issues, incomplete or inaccurate employee records. Lack of analytical skills. HR teams may lack expertise in statistics and data science. Change resistance. Leaders relying on intuition may distrust data insights. Ethical concerns. Fear of surveillance or misuse of data by employees. 16.7 Best practices. Start with small, high-impact projects to demonstrate value. Build cross-functional partnerships with IT and finance. Use visual dashboards to communicate insights to leaders. Develop a data-driven culture, where decisions are guided by evidence. Continuously review models for fairness and eliminate bias. 16.8 Hour analytics metrics. Recruitment, time to fill, quality of hire, source effectiveness. Turnover, voluntary versus involuntary, regrettable attrition, cost of turnover. Performance, percent of high performers retained, performance distribution. Diversity, representation by level, pay equity ratios. Engagement, ENPS score, participation in surveys, engagement by team. Learning, training completion rates, skill proficiency improvements. 16.9 Case studies. Case study 1, Google, Project Oxygen. Challenge, Google wanted to understand what makes a great manager. Solution, analyzed performance reviews, surveys, and productivity data. Identified 8 key behaviors of effective managers, e.g., coaching, empowering teams. Integrated findings into manager training programs. Outcome, significant improvement in managerial quality scores. Higher team engagement and performance. Data-driven culture reinforced across the organization. Case study 2, IBM, predictive attrition modeling. Challenge, IBM faced increasing voluntary attrition that threatened business continuity. Solution, developed AI-powered models using Watson to predict which employees were likely to leave. Identified drivers of attrition, pay, manager quality, career opportunities. Proactively intervened with tailored retention plans. Outcome, reduced voluntary attrition by a measurable percentage. Saved millions in hiring and training costs. Positioned HR as a data-driven strategic partner. Case study 3, Microsoft, employee sentiment analysis. Challenge, Microsoft needed to gauge employee sentiment during its cultural transformation under Satya Nadella. Solution, deployed real-time pulse surveys and internal collaboration analytics. Used data to identify hotspots of disengagement and address issues quickly. Outcome, improved engagement scores year over year. Strengthened culture of learning and collaboration. Enabled leadership to make faster, evidence-based decisions. 16.10 Key takeaways. HR analytics transforms HR from an administrative function into a strategic driver of business performance. Data strategy should prioritize business relevance, quality, and ethical use. Case studies from Google, IBM, and Microsoft show that analytics can improve manager quality, reduce attrition, and enhance engagement. The future of HR lies in predictive and prescriptive analytics that proactively shape workforce strategy. Chapter 17, Talent Management and Workforce Planning. 17.1 Introduction. Talent management and workforce planning are critical elements of strategic human resource management, SHRM. They ensure that the right people are in the right roles at the right time, driving organizational growth and competitive advantage. A strong talent management system integrates workforce planning, talent acquisition, development and succession, performance management, retention and engagement. When executed strategically, it becomes a powerful engine for business sustainability. 17.2 Defining talent management. Talent management is the end-to-end process of attracting, developing, motivating, and retaining high-performing employees. Core components: attraction, employer branding, talent sourcing; acquisition, recruiting, selection, onboarding; development, training, career paths, leadership programs; retention, engagement, rewards, culture; succession, preparing future leaders, critical role coverage. 17.3 Workforce planning. Workforce planning is the systematic process of analyzing current workforce capacity and forecasting future talent needs. Steps in workforce planning: analyze current workforce, headcount, skills inventory, performance distribution; workforce demographics, age, tenure, diversity; forecast future demand, based on business strategy, growth plans, market expansion; scenario modeling, best case, worst case, expected; identify gaps, skills shortages, leadership pipeline gaps, overcapacity areas; develop action plans, hiring plans, reskilling initiatives, redeployment automation. Monitor and adjust. Ongoing review of workforce data and market conditions. 17.4 Workforce segmentation. Not all roles contribute equally to business outcomes. Segmenting the workforce helps allocate resources strategically. Typical segments. Critical roles, direct impact on competitive advantage, e.g., R&D scientists, top sales performers. Core roles, essential for daily operations but easier to replace. Support roles, administrative or transactional positions. Emerging roles, needed for future capabilities, e.g., AI specialists. 17.5 Strategic talent management practices. Employer branding, building a compelling EVP, employee value proposition. Talent pools, developing internal pipelines for key roles. Career pathing, clear progression opportunities to improve retention. Leadership development, building future-ready leaders. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, ensuring representation and access across all talent processes. Internal mobility, encouraging lateral and vertical movement to keep skills fresh and engagement high. 17.6 HR's role. Partner with business leaders to forecast talent needs. Use analytics to identify gaps and risks. Facilitate succession planning for mission-critical roles. Align talent strategies with organizational culture and goals. 17.7 Tools and technology. HRIS and HCM systems, Workday, SAP SuccessFactors, Oracle HCM. Workforce analytics platforms, Visor, Tableau, Power BI. Talent marketplaces, Gloat, Fuel 50 for internal mobility. AI-powered recruitment, smart screening, candidate matching. 17.8 Challenges. Rapid skills obsolescence, need for continuous upskilling, reskilling. Competition for talent, especially in tech, healthcare, and digital roles. Budget constraints, balancing cost with workforce readiness. Globalization, managing diverse, geographically dispersed teams. Change resistance, managers reluctant to move talent across functions. 17.9 Metrics for success. Workforce Readiness Index, skills coverage versus demand. Critical role vacancy rate and time to fill. Internal mobility rate, percentage of roles filled internally. Bench strength, successor readiness for key roles. Retention of top performers. Diversity representation across leadership pipelines. 17.10 Case studies. Case Study 1, Unilever, Agile Workforce Planning. Challenge: Unilever needed to align workforce planning with its ambitious sustainable living plan, requiring new skills in digital marketing and sustainability. Solution: built a global skills inventory and mapped future skills needs. Created talent marketplaces for employees to take on short-term projects. Invested in reskilling programs focused on data, digital, and sustainability skills. Outcome: improved agility in filling critical projects internally. Increased employee engagement through meaningful career opportunities. Built a future-ready workforce aligned with corporate strategy. Case Study 2, Deloitte, Workforce of the Future. Challenge: Deloitte anticipated significant disruption from automation and AI. Solution: modeled multiple scenarios of workforce needs for the next 5 to 10 years. Developed a future of work framework, balancing humans, machines, and alternative work arrangements. Created new roles for data scientists and digital consultants. Outcome: reduced risk of skills shortages in high-demand areas. Supported client transformation by having the right talent at the right time. Reinforced Deloitte's position as a thought leader in workforce transformation. Case Study 3, Amazon Talent Pipeline at Scale. Challenge: Amazon's explosive growth required hiring and developing talent at unprecedented scale. Solution: Built robust leadership development programs like Career Choice, which pays 95% of tuition for employees pursuing in-demand skills. Implemented workforce planning tools to forecast hiring needs by fulfillment center and business unit. Focused on promoting from within for management roles. Outcome: maintained rapid growth with minimal disruption. Increased internal promotions, boosting retention and morale. Positioned Amazon as a continuous learning organization. 17.11 Best Practices. Integrate talent and business strategy. Workforce planning should start with business objectives. Adopt a skills-first approach. Focus on capabilities, not just job titles. Leverage technology. Use AI and analytics for accurate forecasting and workforce optimization. Promote internal talent mobility. Reduce hiring costs and retain institutional knowledge. Continuously monitor talent risks. Update plans regularly as market conditions change. 17.12 Key takeaways. Talent management and workforce planning are proactive, strategic processes that enable business growth and resilience. Workforce segmentation and skills mapping ensure resources focus where they matter most. Case studies from Unilever, Deloitte, and Amazon demonstrate that organizations can stay competitive by anticipating future talent needs, reskilling employees, and building internal pipelines. The future workforce strategy will require continuous learning, agility, and data-driven decision-making. Chapter 18: Performance Management and Continuous Feedback Systems. 18.1 Introduction. Performance management is no longer just an annual review process. It has evolved into a continuous, collaborative, and data-driven system that aligns individual performance with organizational goals. Modern performance management focuses on goal alignment, ongoing feedback, coaching and development, recognition, data-driven decision-making. When done well, performance management drives engagement, productivity, and business outcomes. 18.2 The purpose of performance management. Align individual goals with organizational strategy. Ensure everyone is working toward the same objectives. Motivate and engage employees. Recognize contributions and foster accountability. Identify high performers and future leaders. Support succession planning and targeted development. Address performance gaps. Provide timely coaching and interventions. Support pay-for-performance programs. Link compensation and incentives to measurable results. 18.3 Traditional versus modern performance management. 18.4 Key components of modern performance systems. 1. Goal setting and OKRs. SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. OKRs: objectives and key results, focus on measurable outcomes, widely used by Google and Intel. 2. Continuous feedback. Regular one-on-ones between managers and employees. Peer feedback for holistic performance insights. 3. Coaching and development. Shift from evaluation to growth conversations. Focus on skill building and career development. 4. Performance check-ins. Monthly or quarterly reviews instead of annual. Short, focused conversations on progress and challenges. 5. Recognition. Public acknowledgement of achievements. Peer-to-peer recognition programs to boost morale. 6. Data and technology. Performance management software: Workday, Lattice 15.5. Real-time dashboards for progress tracking. 18.5 Performance ratings: keep or kill. Some organizations have abandoned numerical ratings, while others retain simplified rating scales for clarity. Pros of ratings: provide clear differentiation for pay decisions. Useful for workforce analytics. Cons of ratings: can be demotivating if not well communicated. May encourage short-term thinking over long-term growth. 18.6 HR's role in performance management. Design system. Ensure fairness, transparency, and alignment with culture. Train managers. Equip leaders to deliver constructive feedback. Facilitate conversations. Provide templates, toolkits, and coaching guides. Leverage analytics. Identify trends in performance distribution and development needs. Link to talent processes. Use performance data for succession, promotion, and learning initiatives. 18.7 Metrics for performance management. Percent of employees with clear aligned goals. Frequency of manager-employee check-ins. Distribution of performance ratings, where applicable. Engagement scores correlated with performance discussions. Improvement in productivity or output per employee. 18.8 Case studies. Case study 1, Adobe check-in model. Challenge: Adobe found its annual review process to be bureaucratic, time-consuming, and disengaging. Solution: eliminated annual reviews and numeric ratings. Introduced check-ins, frequent informal conversations focused on expectations, feedback, and growth. Trained managers to hold effective performance conversations. Outcome: voluntary attrition dropped by 30%. Increased employee satisfaction with performance management. Boosted agility and responsiveness in talent decisions. Case study 2, GE from rank and yank to continuous feedback. Challenge: GE's traditional forced ranking system was misaligned with its shift toward innovation and collaboration. Solution: replaced forced rankings with a mobile app, PDGE, that enables real-time feedback. Focused on near-term priorities, frequent touchpoints, and coaching culture. Outcome: improved collaboration across teams. Employees reported feeling more supported and empowered. Increased adaptability in a rapidly changing business environment. Case study 3, Microsoft growth mindset in performance reviews. Challenge: Microsoft needed to revamp its performance culture to encourage innovation. Solution: shifted from stack ranking to a growth mindset approach. Emphasized learning, collaboration, and impact over individual competition. Aligned rewards with team outcomes and innovation. Outcome: engagement scores improved dramatically. Culture became more innovative and collaborative. Strengthened employer brand as a learning organization. 18.9 Best practices. Align performance goals with organizational strategy. Provide frequent, specific, and constructive feedback. Empower managers to act as coaches, not just evaluators. Integrate recognition into the process to reinforce desired behaviors. Use technology for real-time data collection and insight generation. Measure outcomes and continuously improve the process. 18.10 Key takeaways. Modern performance management is about continuous improvement, not one-time judgment. Organizations should focus on frequent conversations, coaching, and goal alignment. Case studies from Adobe, GE, and Microsoft show that evolving from annual reviews to continuous feedback boosts engagement, reduces turnover, and drives innovation. A well-executed performance management system becomes a key driver of business performance and talent retention. Chapter 19: Leadership Development and Succession Planning. 19.1 Introduction. Leadership is the single greatest lever for driving organizational success. Strong leaders inspire, engage, and retain employees, while poor leadership is a leading cause of turnover. Leadership development and succession planning ensure a steady pipeline of capable leaders to meet current and future business challenges. This chapter explores how organizations identify, develop, and prepare future leaders while reducing the risks of leadership gaps. 19.2 Importance of leadership development. Future-proofing the organization prepares for retirements, turnover, and rapid growth. Driving strategy execution. Leaders translate corporate strategy into action. Employee engagement. Strong leaders foster trust, motivation, and belonging. Culture shaping. Leaders model and reinforce organizational values. Risk mitigation. Minimizes disruption from sudden leadership vacancies. 19.3 Key elements of leadership development. 1. Leadership competency models. Define the behaviors, skills, and values that great leaders must demonstrate. Examples: strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, decision-making under uncertainty, coaching and talent development. 2. Leadership development programs. Early career programs for high-potential employees, e.g., management trainee programs. Mid-level programs focused on developing cross-functional leadership skills. Executive programs, board readiness, global strategy, crisis management. 3. Coaching and mentoring. Executive coaching for targeted development. Mentorship programs to transfer knowledge and experience. 4. Job rotations and stretch assignments. Expose potential leaders to diverse business challenges to build agility. 5. Feedback and assessments. 360-degree feedback tools. Leadership potential assessments, e.g., Korn Ferry Hogan, SHL. 19.4 Succession planning framework. Step 1. Identify critical roles. Focus on roles that would create significant business risk if vacant. Step 2. Assess current talent. Evaluate performance, potential, and readiness using a 9-box grid. Performance, past results. Potential, ability to take on bigger roles. Step 3. Build talent pools. Create pipelines for each critical role with multiple potential successors. Step 4. Develop successors. Use development plans, mentoring, and exposure to strategic projects. Step 5. Monitor and adjust. Review succession plans annually or when business priorities change. 19.5 High potential, hypo identification. Hypo employees are typically assessed using 3 factors. Aspiration, willingness to take on bigger challenges. Ability, skills and competencies to succeed in advanced roles. Engagement, commitment to the organization and its mission. 19.6 HR's role. Facilitate leadership competency modeling. Provide tools and assessments for leadership readiness. Partner with executives to align succession plans with business strategy. Ensure diversity and inclusion in leadership pipelines. Track progress and measure ROI of leadership programs. 19.7 Challenges in leadership development. Bias in talent identification. Favoritism can exclude diverse candidates. Short-term focus, failing to invest in future-ready skills. Insufficient bench strength, not enough ready-now leaders for key roles. Retention risk, high-potential employees leaving for lack of opportunities. Underestimating soft skills, overemphasis on technical skills versus emotional intelligence. 19.8 Metrics for success. Percent of critical roles with ready successors. Internal promotion rate versus external hires for leadership positions. Diversity representation in leadership pipeline. Retention rate of hypo employees. Leadership effectiveness scores from engagement surveys. 19.9 Case studies. Case Study 1, PepsiCo Leadership Pipeline Model. Challenge: PepsiCo needed to ensure a steady stream of leaders across global markets. Solution: developed a leadership pipeline framework focusing on transitions at every level. Built structured development programs for frontline, mid-level, and executive roles. Incorporated global mobility and cross-functional assignments. Outcome: strong internal promotion rates. Reduced leadership gaps during expansions. Increased leadership diversity and global capability. Case Study 2, IBM, Next Gen Leadership Development. Challenge: IBM needed to shift its leadership style to support a transformation toward cloud and AI. Solution: implemented a Your Learning platform for personalized development. Used AI to recommend leadership learning paths. Identified HiPAS using predictive analytics on performance and collaboration data. Outcome: accelerated readiness of leaders for strategic roles. Improved retention of top performers. Created a data-driven approach to leadership development. Case Study 3, Procter & Gamble P&G promote from within. Challenge: P&G's business model relied on a consistent supply of future general managers. Solution: adopted a build rather than buy philosophy. Developed managers internally through progressive leadership roles. Invested heavily in early career leadership programs. Outcome: over 90% of senior leaders were promoted internally. Deep bench strength ensured smooth leadership transitions. Strengthened cultural continuity and organizational identity. 19.10 Best Practices. Create leadership competency models aligned with strategy. Use data-driven hypo identification to reduce bias. Build diverse leadership pipelines to reflect workforce and market. Offer personalized learning and coaching for different career stages. Review succession plans regularly and test them with scenario planning. Ensure board and CEO buy-in for leadership development as a priority. 19.11 Key takeaways. Leadership development and succession planning are critical risk management tools for organizational continuity. Building strong pipelines requires systematic talent identification, development opportunities, and retention efforts. Case studies from PepsiCo, IBM, and P&G show that organizations with structured, forward-looking leadership programs are more resilient and innovative. The future of leadership development will focus on agility, digital fluency, inclusive leadership, and emotional intelligence. Chapter 20: Organizational Culture and Change Management. 20.1 Introduction. Organizational culture, the shared values, beliefs, and behaviors within a company, is a powerful driver of performance. Culture acts as the operating system of the organization, influencing how decisions are made, how employees collaborate, and how customers are served. Change management, on the other hand, is the structured process of transitioning individuals, teams, and organizations from a current state to a desired future state. When culture and change are managed together, organizations can adapt faster and outperform competitors. 20.2 Understanding organizational culture. Definition. Edgar Schein defines culture as a pattern of shared basic assumptions that the group learned as it solved its problems of external adaptation and internal integration. Levels of culture, Schein's model. Artifacts, visible elements, dress code, office design, rituals. Espoused values, stated norms, mission statements, strategies, codes of conduct. Underlying assumptions, deeply ingrained beliefs, often unconscious but most powerful. 20.3 The role of culture in business performance. Alignment with strategy. Culture can accelerate or hinder strategic execution. Talent attraction and retention. Strong cultures attract like-minded individuals. Engagement and productivity. Employees thrive in cultures where they feel aligned and safe. Innovation. Open and collaborative cultures foster creativity. Customer experience. Internal culture shapes how employees interact with customers. 20.4 Diagnosing culture. Employee engagement surveys capture perceptions and sentiments. Culture audits assess alignment between espoused values and actual behavior. Focus groups and interviews gain qualitative insights into cultural strengths and pain points. Organizational network analysis, ONA, map collaboration patterns to see how work really happens. 20.5 Shaping and reinforcing culture. Leadership modeling. Leaders set the tone through behavior and decision-making. Hiring and onboarding. Recruit people who fit and enhance the culture. Recognition and rewards. Reinforce desired behaviors. Rituals and symbols. Create shared meaning through stories, celebrations, and traditions. Communication. Consistently share cultural messages through all channels. 20.6 Change Management Fundamentals. Change is constant, from mergers and acquisitions to digital transformation to reorganization. Structured change management increases the likelihood of success. Kotter's 8-step change model. Create a sense of urgency. Communicate why change is necessary. Build a guiding coalition. Assemble change champions and influencers. Form a strategic vision. Provide a clear picture of the future. Communicate the vision. Repeat and reinforce through multiple channels. Empower action. Remove barriers, give people tools and authority. Generate short-term wins. Celebrate early successes to build momentum. Sustain acceleration. Keep pushing for progress, avoid complacency. Anchor changes in culture, make the new way the way we do things. EDCAR Model ProSci. Awareness. Desire. Knowledge. Ability. Reinforcement. 20.7 HR's role in culture and change. Culture champion. Advocate for cultural alignment with strategy. Change architect. Design change processes that are human-centered. Communicator. Translate strategy into clear, inspiring messages. Coach. Equip managers to lead through change. Metrics owner. Measure culture and change adoption progress. 20.8 Challenges in culture and change management. Culture strategy misalignment. When culture doesn't support the desired direction. Employee resistance. Fear of the unknown or loss of control. Change fatigue. Too many initiatives leading to burnout. Leadership inconsistency. Mixed messages or lack of role modeling. Global complexity. Different cultural norms across geographies. 20.9 Metrics for culture and change success. Employee engagement and cultural alignment scores. Adoption rates of new processes or tools. Voluntary turnover, especially among key talent. Productivity and performance indicators post-change. Customer satisfaction and brand reputation metrics. 20.10 Case studies. Case Study 1 Netflix, Culture of Freedom and Responsibility. Challenge: Netflix needed to scale globally without losing its entrepreneurial edge. Solution: codified its culture in the famous Netflix Culture Deck. Emphasized autonomy, accountability, and transparency. Focused on hiring stunning colleagues who thrive in a high-performance environment. Outcome: created a talent-dense organization with high innovation capacity. Attracted top talent by being clear about expectations. Maintained agility while growing globally. Case Study 2 Microsoft Culture Transformation under Satya Nadella. Challenge: Microsoft's previous culture was seen as competitive and siloed, stifling innovation. Solution: introduced a growth mindset philosophy across the company. Encouraged collaboration, learning, and experimentation. Measured cultural transformation progress via engagement surveys and network analysis. Outcome: revitalized innovation and employee engagement. Shifted reputation from stagnant to cutting edge. Became one of the most valuable companies in the world. Case Study 3 Southwest Airlines Culture as a Competitive Advantage. Challenge: in a price-sensitive industry, Southwest needed to differentiate through customer experience. Solution: built a culture around fun, servant leadership, and putting employees first. Empowered frontline employees to make customer decisions on the spot. Reinforced culture through hiring, recognition, and storytelling. Outcome: consistently high employee engagement scores. Industry-leading customer satisfaction. Profitability maintained even during downturns. 20.11 Best practices. Align culture with business strategy and make it explicit. Engage employees early in the change process to build buy-in. Model desired behaviors at the top before expecting them at the bottom. Communicate frequently, clearly, and authentically. Celebrate wins and recognize cultural ambassadors. Continuously measure and adjust to keep culture healthy and resilient. 20.12 Key takeaways. Culture is a strategic asset, shaping how work gets done and how the organization is perceived. Effective change management is about people first, process second. Leaders play a pivotal role in setting the tone and anchoring change in culture. Case studies from Netflix, Microsoft, and Southwest Airlines prove that a strong, aligned culture drives long-term performance and competitive advantage. Chapter 21. Global HRM and Cross-Cultural Management. 21.1 Introduction. As businesses expand across borders, HR must manage global workforces that span different geographies, legal systems, time zones, and cultures. Global Human Resource Management, Global HRM, ensures that HR policies, talent strategies, and employee experiences are consistent, yet flexible enough to accommodate local differences. Cross-cultural management is a core component, helping organizations harness cultural diversity as a competitive advantage instead of a barrier. 21.2 The importance of global HRM. Talent access expands recruitment to a worldwide talent pool. Business growth supports international expansion by ensuring the right people are in place. Risk management ensures compliance with international labor laws and regulations. Innovation. Diverse teams bring varied perspectives, sparking creativity. Employer brand builds a global reputation as an inclusive, attractive employer. 21.3 Key challenges in global HRM. Legal complexity, different employment laws, tax systems, and labor relations. Cultural diversity, managing communication styles, values, and workplace norms. Global mobility, expatriate assignments, visas, relocation costs. Consistency versus local adaptation, balancing global standards with local customization. Time zone and collaboration issues, coordinating distributed teams effectively. 21.4 Cross-Cultural Management Fundamentals. Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions. A widely used framework to understand cross-cultural differences. Power distance, acceptance of hierarchy, e.g., high in Malaysia, low in Denmark. Individualism versus collectivism, priority on self versus group, e.g., USA versus Japan. Masculinity versus femininity, competition versus cooperation focus, e.g., Japan versus Sweden. Uncertainty avoidance, comfort with risk, e.g., Greece high, Singapore low. Long-term orientation, future planning versus short-term results, e.g., China versus USA. Indulgence versus restraint, freedom to enjoy life versus controlled behavior. Cultural intelligence, CQ. The ability to relate and work effectively across cultures. CQ involves CQ drive, motivation to engage with other cultures. CQ knowledge, understanding cultural norms. CQ strategy, ability to plan for multicultural interactions. CQ action, adjusting behavior appropriately in real time. 21.5 Global HR strategies. Global talent acquisition. Use global sourcing platforms, employer branding campaigns, and diversity targets. International training and development. Cross-cultural training for employees and leaders. Global compensation and benefits. Balance equity with local relevance, e.g., cost of living adjustments. Expatriate management. Selection, support, and repatriation planning. Technology-enabled collaboration. Tools like Slack, Teams, and Zoom to bridge distance. 21.6 Global workforce planning. Scenario planning. Anticipate talent needs across regions. Location strategy. Choose where to place talent based on skill availability, cost, and risk. Talent mobility. Design programs to rotate high potentials across geographies for development. 21.7 Legal and compliance considerations. Employment laws vary. Termination rules, notice periods, work hours. International data protection regulations. GDPR in Europe. Collective bargaining agreements and unions in different countries. Immigration and work permit requirements. 21.8 HR's role in cross-cultural integration. Develop intercultural training for employees and leaders. Promote inclusive leadership and psychological safety. Create global employee resource groups, ERGs, to foster connection. Facilitate knowledge sharing across borders. 21.9 Metrics for global HRM success. Global talent acquisition metrics. Time to fill, quality of hire per region. Diversity and inclusion indicators across geographies. Expatriate assignment ROI, cost versus value delivered. Employee engagement by region and culture. Retention rates of key talent globally. 21.10 Case studies. Case Study 1, IBM, building a globally integrated enterprise. Challenge: IBM needed to transition from a US-centric organization to a truly global enterprise. Solution: implemented a globally integrated HR system with consistent talent processes. Launched global leadership development programs, e.g., Corporate Service Corps. Created regional talent hubs to leverage local expertise. Outcome: improved collaboration across borders. Increased leadership diversity and global experience. Accelerated market responsiveness through decentralized decision-making. Case Study 2, Unilever, Inclusive Global Talent Strategy. Challenge: Unilever wanted to build a leadership pipeline that reflected the diversity of its markets. Solution: implemented a One Unilever talent framework worldwide. Set ambitious gender diversity goals for leadership roles. Invested in global digital learning platforms for all employees. Outcome: 50% of management roles globally are now held by women. Strengthened employer brand, attracting top talent. Improved employee engagement scores across regions. Case Study 3, Accenture, Cross-Cultural Leadership Development. Challenge: as a consulting firm with clients in 120+ countries, Accenture needed culturally agile leaders. Solution: embedded cross-cultural intelligence training in its leadership curriculum. Used global virtual collaboration projects as development opportunities. Measured cultural adaptability as part of performance reviews. Outcome: improved client satisfaction in multicultural projects. Increased leadership readiness for global roles. Reduced cultural misunderstandings that previously slowed projects. 21.11 Best practices. Build global hour policies with local flexibility, globalization. Invest in cultural intelligence training for all employees, not just leaders. Leverage HR technology platforms to manage global talent consistently. Regularly review compliance with international labor regulations. Foster virtual team building and collaboration tools to connect dispersed teams. Track and improve global diversity and inclusion outcomes. 21.12 Key takeaways. Global HRM enables organizations to compete in a globalized economy by harmonizing talent strategies while respecting local differences. Cross-cultural management is essential for unlocking innovation, collaboration, and engagement across borders. Case studies from IBM, Unilever, and Accenture show that global HRM, when executed strategically, leads to diverse leadership pipelines, stronger market presence, and higher organizational agility. Chapter 22: HR Technology and Digital Transformation. 22.1 Introduction. HR technology has moved far beyond payroll and record-keeping. It is now a strategic enabler of employee experience, workforce insights, and organizational agility. Digital transformation in HR is about leveraging technology to streamline operations, personalize employee interactions, and make data-driven decisions that drive business performance. This chapter explores HR technology trends, implementation strategies, and real-world case studies of organizations that have successfully transformed their HR functions. 22.2 The role of HR technology in SHRM. Efficiency automates administrative tasks, onboarding, payroll, compliance. Data-driven decision-making uses analytics to optimize hiring, retention, and workforce planning. Scalability supports growth by standardizing processes globally. Employee experience enhances engagement through self-service, personalization, and 24/7 access. Agility enables HR to respond quickly to market and workforce changes. 22.3 Key HR technologies. 1. Human Resource Information Systems, HRIS. Centralized platforms for managing employee records, payroll, benefits, administration, compliance reporting. Examples: Workday, SAP SuccessFactors, Oracle HCM. 2. Applicant Tracking Systems, ATS. Streamline recruitment by posting jobs across multiple channels, screening resumes with AI, tracking candidate progress. Examples: Greenhouse Lever Smart Recruiters. 3. Learning Management Systems, LMS. Deliver, track, and measure learning initiatives. E-learning modules. Certifications. Personalized learning paths. Examples: Cornerstone On Demand, Docebo, Degreed. 4. Performance Management Tools. Support continuous feedback, goal setting, and check-ins. Real-time performance tracking. OKR, Objectives and Key Results Alignment. 360-degree feedback. Examples: Lattice Betterworks 15.5. 5. Employee experience and engagement platforms. Measure and improve engagement. Pulse surveys. Recognition platforms. Collaboration tools. Examples: Culture Amp, Pecan, Bonusly. 6. HR analytics and AI. Use of big data, predictive analytics, and machine learning to predict turnover risk, optimize workforce planning, improve day outcomes, enhance talent sourcing. 22.4 Digital Transformation Roadmap for HR. Assess current state. Map existing HR processes and pain points. Collect employee feedback on HR services. Define digital HR strategy. Align technology investments with business and workforce strategy. Prioritize high-impact use cases, e.g., talent acquisition, engagement. Select the right technology. Evaluate vendors based on functionality, scalability, integration, and user experience. Consider cloud-based, mobile-friendly solutions. Implement and integrate. Use change management principles to drive adoption. Ensure systems talk to each other. HRIS, payroll, ATS, LMS. Upskill HR teams. Train HR professionals in data literacy, digital tools, and analytics. Measure and optimize. Track ROI through efficiency gains, employee satisfaction, and business outcomes. 22.5 Emerging Trends in HR Technology. AI-driven talent acquisition, chatbots, candidate scoring, and video interview analysis. People analytics, predictive models for retention, engagement, and succession planning. Employee self-service, mobile-first solutions for HR tasks. Digital learning ecosystems, microlearning, social learning, and gamification. Virtual reality VR training, immersive simulations for onboarding and skills training. Blockchain in HR, for secure credential verification and background checks. 22.6 HR's role in digital transformation. Champion technology adoption and change management. Act as data stewards, ensuring accuracy and privacy compliance. Partner with IT and business leaders to integrate systems seamlessly. Use insights from HR tech to influence strategic workforce decisions. 22.7 Challenges in HR digital transformation. Change resistance, employees hesitant to adopt new systems. Integration issues, legacy systems not compatible with modern tools. Data privacy and security, compliance with GDPR, CCPA, and other regulations. Skills gap, HR teams need training in analytics and digital fluency. Cost and ROI justification, balancing investment with measurable impact. 22.8 Metrics for digital HR success. User adoption rate of new platforms. Reduction in HR administrative workload. Time to fill and cost per hire improvements. Employee engagement and satisfaction scores. Data accuracy and availability for decision making. ROI on HR technology investment. 22.9 Case studies. Case study 1, Unilever, AI-enabled recruitment. Challenge, Unilever needed to streamline its global recruitment process while improving candidate experience. Solution. Adopted AI-driven platforms for resume screening and video interview analysis. Gamified assessments to evaluate cognitive and emotional traits. Integrated ATS with global HRIS for seamless workflow. Outcome. Reduced hiring time by 75%. Improved diversity by removing bias from early screening. Increased candidate satisfaction with a faster, transparent process. Case study 2, Schneider Electric, HR digital transformation. Challenge, Schneider Electric needed to improve employee experience across 100+ countries. Solution. Implemented a single global HRIS, SAP SuccessFactors. Launched a mobile-first self-service HR portal. Introduced AI-driven career path recommendations. Outcome. Increased employee self-service transactions by 80%. HR efficiency improved, freeing time for strategic initiatives. Engagement scores improved, especially in career development areas. Case study 3, IBM, People Analytics at Scale. Challenge, IBM wanted to predict employee turnover and improve retention. Solution. Built an AI model that analyzed internal and external data points. Identified employees at high risk of leaving. Proactively offered career opportunities and interventions. Outcome. Saved over $300 million in retention costs. Reduced voluntary attrition significantly. Strengthened IBM's reputation as a data-driven HR innovator. 22.10 Best Practices. Start small with pilot projects before full-scale rollout. Focus on user experience to maximize adoption. Integrate systems for a single source of truth in HR data. Maintain strong data governance and compliance frameworks. Continuously update digital tools to match workforce expectations. Train HR teams to become tech-savvy and analytics-driven. 22.11 Key takeaways. HR technology is no longer optional. It is a core enabler of strategic HRM. Digital transformation should focus not just on technology, but also on employee experience and adoption. Case studies from Unilever, Schneider Electric, and IBM demonstrate that HR tech delivers tangible business outcomes, from faster hiring to reduced turnover. The future of HR will be AI-powered, mobile-first, predictive, and personalized. Chapter 23, HR Metrics and Analytics. 23.1 Introduction. HR metrics and analytics have transformed HR from a function focused on administration to one that drives strategic business decisions. By collecting, analyzing, and interpreting workforce data, HR can predict trends, measure effectiveness, and directly link people initiatives to organizational performance. This chapter explores the frameworks, metrics, tools, and case studies that make HR analytics a key component of strategic human resource management, SHRM. 23.2 What is HR analytics? HR analytics, also called people analytics, is the systematic collection and analysis of workforce data to improve decision-making and organizational outcomes. Levels of HR analytics. Descriptive analytics, what happened? E.g., turnover rate last year. Diagnostic analytics, why did it happen? E.g., exit survey analysis. Predictive analytics, what is likely to happen? E.g., attrition risk modeling. Prescriptive analytics, what should we do? E.g., which retention initiatives have the best ROI? 23.3 The business case for HR analytics. Data-driven decisions. Move away from gut feeling to evidence-based hour. Strategic impact. Connect talent initiatives to business performance, revenue, customer satisfaction. Cost reduction. Optimize hiring, reduce turnover, and improve workforce planning. Risk mitigation. Identify compliance risks, workforce shortages, and succession gaps early. Competitive advantage. Use insights to attract, develop, and retain top talent better than competitors. 23.4 Key HR metrics. Recruitment and staffing. Time to fill. Cost per hire. Quality of hire, performance ratings after 6 to 12 months. Candidate experience scores. Employee engagement and retention. Voluntary turnover rate. Retention of high potentials. Employee Net Promoter Score, ENPS. Absenteeism rate. Learning and development. Training completion rate. Learning hours per employee. Skill acquisition metrics. Training ROI, impact on performance productivity. Performance and productivity. Revenue per employee. Goal attainment rate. Performance distribution curves. Internal mobility rate. Compensation and benefits. Pay equity ratios. Benefits utilization rate. Total reward satisfaction score. Diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI). Representation at all levels. Promotion rate by demographics. Pay equity gap. Inclusion survey scores. 23.5 Hour analytics process. Define business questions. Example: why is turnover highest among mid-level managers in APAC? Collect relevant data. Internal HRIS, ATS surveys, and external market benchmarks. Clean and integrate data. Ensure data accuracy, consistency, and privacy compliance. Analyze and interpret. Use statistical methods, regression analysis, predictive modeling. Generate insights. Translate findings into business implications. Communicate to stakeholders. Use dashboards and storytelling to make data actionable. Take action and measure results. Implement changes and track improvements over time. 23.6 Hour analytics tools. Business intelligence platforms, Power BI, Tableau, Click. HR-specific analytics tools, Visier, Cruncher, One Model. HRIS built-in analytics, Workday, SAP SuccessFactors, Oracle, HCM. Survey and engagement tools, Qualtrics, Culture Amp, Peakon. 23.7 HR's role in analytics. Become data literate and comfortable with interpreting analytics. Partner with finance, IT, and business leaders to connect HR data with business metrics. Protect data privacy and adhere to regulations, GDPR, CCPA. Build a culture where managers use data to make better talent decisions. 23.8 Challenges in HR Analytics. Data silos, HR data spread across multiple systems. Data quality issues, incomplete or inaccurate records. Lack of analytic skills, HR professionals need upskilling. Privacy concerns, risk of misuse of sensitive data. Leadership buy-in, some leaders still prefer intuition over data. 23.9 Metrics for analytics maturity. Percent of HR decisions supported by data. Usage rate of HR dashboards by leaders. Reduction in talent-related surprises, e.g. unplanned turnover. Business outcomes improved due to HR insights, e.g. faster hiring, higher retention. 23.10 Case Studies. Case Study 1 Google Project Oxygen. Challenge: Google wanted to understand what made a great manager. Solution: collected data on manager behaviors and team outcomes. Identified 8 key manager behaviors, e.g., being a good coach, empowering team. Integrated findings into leadership development programs. Outcome: significant improvement in manager quality scores. Higher team performance and employee satisfaction. Data-driven approach became a model for people analytics globally. Case Study 2 Microsoft Predictive Attrition Modeling. Challenge: Microsoft faced high attrition in certain engineering roles. Solution: built predictive models using HRIS, performance data, and engagement surveys. Identified drivers of attrition, e.g., lack of career growth, manager quality. Created targeted retention programs and development opportunities. Outcome: reduced attrition by over 30% in critical roles. Improved engagement scores for targeted groups. Showed direct cost savings from reduced turnover. Case Study 3 Credit Suisse Workforce Planning Analytics. Challenge: Credit Suisse needed to anticipate future talent needs for regulatory compliance roles. Solution: built workforce models to forecast hiring demand. Linked regulatory changes to talent requirements. Shared forecasts with business leaders for proactive recruiting. Outcome: reduced last-minute hiring costs. Ensured compliance readiness. Strengthened HR's credibility as a strategic partner. 23.11 Best Practices. Start with business problems, not just data collection. Focus on a few high-impact metrics to avoid data overload. Use visual dashboards to make insights actionable. Train HR teams in analytics and storytelling. Maintain a feedback loop to refine models and metrics. Always consider ethics and privacy when using people data. 23.12 Key Takeaways. HR analytics turns data into strategic insights that improve decision-making. Organizations must progress from descriptive reporting to predictive and prescriptive analytics for maximum impact. Case studies from Google, Microsoft, and Credit Suisse show that analytics can improve leadership quality, reduce attrition, and anticipate future workforce needs. The future of HR analytics lies in AI, machine learning, and real-time workforce intelligence dashboards that guide action. Chapter 24: Corporate Social Responsibility and Hours Role. 24.1 Introduction. Corporate Social Responsibility, CSR, has become a strategic priority for organizations, driven by stakeholder expectations, regulatory requirements, and a global emphasis on sustainability. Today's employees, investors, and customers expect companies to go beyond profit-making and contribute positively to society and the environment. HR plays a pivotal role in designing, implementing, and sustaining CSR initiatives, ensuring that they are embedded in organizational culture, talent strategy, and day-to-day employee experience. 24.2 Understanding CSR. CSR refers to a company's commitment to operate ethically, minimize negative impact, and maximize positive contributions to stakeholders, society, and the planet. Key pillars of CSR: environmental responsibility, reducing carbon footprint, waste, and energy consumption. Social responsibility, promoting human rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Economic responsibility, ethical business practices, transparency, and fair wages. Philanthropy and community engagement, corporate giving, volunteering, and partnerships. 24.3 ESG, Environmental Social Governance Framework. ESG has become the standard lens through which investors and stakeholders evaluate CSR efforts. Environmental, carbon emissions, resource efficiency, waste management. Social, employee welfare, diversity, equity, community impact. Governance, board diversity, ethics, compliance, transparency. HR is most influential in the social and governance dimensions, but increasingly plays a role in environmental efforts through employee engagement and sustainability initiatives. 24.4 HR's strategic role in CSR. Talent attraction and retention. Promote CSR as part of the employer brand, particularly important for younger generations, millennials, Gen Z. Employee engagement. Provide opportunities for employees to contribute to CSR initiatives. Policy development. Ensure fair labor practices, ethical recruitment, and diversity policies. Leadership development. Build responsible leadership mindsets. CSR training. Educate employees on sustainability and ethical decision-making. Measurement and reporting. Track and report CSR metrics as part of ESG disclosures. 24.5 Key CSR and HR initiatives. 1. Diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI). Inclusive hiring practices. Unconscious bias training. Pay equity analysis and correction. 2. Employee well-being. Mental health support. Work-life balance programs. Safe and inclusive workplaces. 3. Sustainability engagement. Employee-led green teams. Remote work policies reducing carbon footprint. Volunteering for environmental projects. 4. Ethical labor practices. Supplier code of conduct. Zero tolerance for forced or child labor. Transparent grievance mechanisms. 5. Community engagement. Paid volunteer days. Corporate philanthropy programs. Skills-based volunteering initiatives. 24.6 HR's role in ESG reporting. HR helps collect, analyze, and report on workforce diversity statistics. Employee engagement scores. Training hours per employee, e.g., compliance, ethics, DEI. Health and safety incidents. Turnover rates, and talent pipeline diversity. These metrics often appear in annual sustainability or ESG reports, increasing transparency and accountability. 24.7 Challenges in CSR implementation. Greenwashing risk. Superficial initiatives without real impact can backfire. Measuring impact. Difficult to quantify social and environmental outcomes. Employee skepticism. CSR efforts must be authentic to gain buy-in. Global consistency. Balancing global CSR standards with local relevance. Resource constraints. Budget and time limitations for CSR activities. 24.8 Metrics for CSR and HR impact. Employee participation in CSR programs. Volunteering rate hours. Diversity and pay equity metrics across levels. Employee engagement scores on purpose questions. ESG ratings from external agencies. Carbon footprint reduction, if linked to employee programs. 24.9 Case studies. Case Study 1. Patagonia, Environmental Activism as Strategy. Challenge. Patagonia wanted to make environmental responsibility core to its business model. Solution: donated 1% of sales to environmental causes, 1% for the planet. Provided employees with paid time off for environmental activism. Embedded sustainability into product design and supply chain decisions. Outcome: built a loyal customer and employee base aligned with its mission. Increased brand equity and became a model for corporate activism. Attracted purpose-driven talent. Case Study 2: Unilever Sustainable Living Plan. Challenge: Unilever sought to decouple business growth from environmental impact. Solution: set measurable goals on waste reduction, sustainable sourcing, and social impact. Linked executive bonuses to sustainability performance. Engaged employees globally in sustainability projects. Outcome: achieved significant reductions in waste and emissions. Strengthened employer brand and became a leader in ESG rankings. Increased employee pride and retention. Case Study 3: Salesforce 111 Philanthropy Model. Challenge: Salesforce wanted to scale social impact along with its business growth. Solution: pledged 1% of equity, 1% of product, and 1% of employee time to philanthropy. Encouraged employees to volunteer up to 7 paid days annually. Embedded philanthropy into onboarding and company culture. Outcome: millions of volunteer hours contributed to communities worldwide. Elevated Salesforce's brand as a purpose-driven company. Improved employee engagement and recruitment of socially conscious talent. 24.10 Best Practices. Align CSR initiatives with core business purpose for authenticity. Involve employees in design and execution of CSR programs. Link CSR metrics to executive performance incentives. Partner with credible NGOs for greater impact. Regularly communicate outcomes to employees, investors, and customers. Ensure CSR efforts are globally consistent, but locally relevant. 24.11 Key Takeaways. CSR and ESG are no longer optional. They are strategic differentiators for attracting talent, investors, and customers. HR is central to CSR by embedding ethical practices, engaging employees, and reporting progress. Authenticity and transparency are crucial to avoid reputational risk. Case studies from Patagonia, Unilever, and Salesforce show how CSR can enhance business success and employee engagement simultaneously. Chapter 25: The Future of Work in HR. 25.1 Introduction. The workplace is undergoing profound transformation driven by technology, demographics, globalization, and shifting employee expectations. The future of work is not a distant concept. It is unfolding now, with HR at the center of navigating these changes. This chapter explores megatrends shaping the future of work, the skills and capabilities HR must develop, and how organizations can remain competitive and human-centered in a rapidly changing world. 25.2 Megatrends shaping the future of work. 1. Technological disruption. AI, machine learning and automation, automating routine tasks, enabling predictive analytics, creating new jobs while displacing others. Generative AI, enhancing creativity, recruitment, learning, and employee experience. Digital collaboration tools, enabling global distributed teams. 2. Hybrid and remote work. Shift from location-based work to outcome-based work. Rise of digital-first organizations and work-from-anywhere policies. Challenges in maintaining culture, collaboration, and engagement. 3. Workforce demographics. Multi-generational workforce, Gen Z entering, boomers retiring. Increased workforce diversity and demand for inclusive environments. Global talent mobility and rise of distributed teams. 4. Gig economy and flexible work. Growth of freelancers, contractors, and fractional executives. Need for new models of workforce planning, benefits, and engagement. 5. Employee expectations. Purpose-driven work and alignment with corporate values. Focus on mental health, well-being, and work-life balance. Demand for continuous learning and career mobility. 6. ESG and ethical imperatives. Pressure on organizations to operate sustainably and ethically. Employee activism influencing corporate decisions. 25.3 Future HR priorities. 1. Workforce planning for agility. Scenario planning for rapid market changes. Balancing full-time, gig, and automation-based workforce models. 2. Skills of the future. Emphasize digital literacy, creativity, problem-solving, adaptability. Continuous reskilling and upskilling to close skill gaps. 3. People analytics and AI integration. Use predictive analytics for attrition, performance, and workforce demand. Implement AI responsibly, balancing efficiency with ethics. 4. Employee experience design. Move from HR processes to consumer-grade employee experiences. Personalized learning, career development, and recognition programs. 5. Inclusive and human-centered workplaces. Build cultures of belonging in hybrid environments. Measure inclusion beyond representation, e.g., psychological safety metrics. 25.4 HR's evolving role. HR is becoming Chief People and Culture Architect, designing employee experiences and organizational culture. Strategic Talent Advisor, influencing C-suite decisions with data-driven insights. Digital Transformation Partner, leading adoption of HR tech and AI solutions. Ethical Steward, ensuring fairness, privacy, and responsible use of workforce data. 25.5 Our Technology of the Future. AI-powered HR platforms, personalized recruitment, learning, and engagement journeys. Blockchain for HR, secure credential verification, transparent pay systems. Virtual reality VR, AR learning, immersive simulations for training and onboarding. People analytics dashboards, real-time insights for managers and executives. 25.6 Challenges ahead. Digital divide, risk of leaving behind employees with low-tech access or literacy. Job displacement, ethical management of workforce transitions due to automation. Burnout and overconnectivity, managing well-being in a hyper-connected, always-on world. Regulatory landscape, navigating evolving labor laws, AI ethics, and data protection requirements. 25.7 Case Studies. Case Study 1 Siemens Future of Work Program. Challenge: Siemens needed to prepare its global workforce for Industry 4.0 while staying competitive. Solution: launched a future of work strategy with hybrid work, upskilling, and AI integration. Developed digital skills academies for employees. Implemented a global flexible work policy. Outcome: higher employee satisfaction and retention. Accelerated digital transformation. Strengthened employer brand as a future-ready company. Case Study 2 Deloitte Workforce of the Future Research. Challenge: Deloitte wanted to prepare clients and its own workforce for future disruptions. Solution: conducted extensive research on future skills and work models. Used scenario planning to inform workforce strategy. Piloted agile talent marketplaces for internal mobility. Outcome: increased internal gig assignments and skill development. Improved employee engagement by aligning work with individual strengths. Became a thought leader in future of work consulting. Case Study 3 Airbnb Employee Experience in Hybrid Work. Challenge: Airbnb needed to balance flexibility with culture after going fully remote during COVID-19. Solution: announced a live and work anywhere policy with structured meetups for collaboration. Invested in virtual onboarding and culture-building programs. Used employee feedback loops to refine hybrid work experience. Outcome: strong retention and hiring success post-pandemic. Positive media coverage boosted brand reputation. Employees reported higher engagement and productivity. 25.8 Best practices for HR leaders. Build future scenarios and stress test talent strategies. Invest in continuous learning ecosystems to keep skills relevant. Embrace hybrid-first thinking, design for flexibility, not just location. Use ethical AI frameworks to protect employee trust. Regularly listen to employees to understand evolving needs. Partner with government, academia, and industry to shape responsible workforce policy. 25.9 Key takeaways. The future of work is technology-enabled, human-centered, and purpose-driven. HR leaders must be proactive in shaping strategy, culture, and skills development. Case studies from Siemens, Deloitte, and Airbnb show how organizations can thrive by embracing flexibility, data, and continuous learning. The HR function of tomorrow will be more analytical, digital, and strategic, but also more empathetic and employee-centric. 25.10 Final thoughts. This book has shown that strategic human resource management is no longer just about managing people. It's about designing the future of organizations. HR's role is now that of a strategic partner, change leader, and culture architect, ensuring that businesses remain resilient, innovative, and human in an era of constant disruption. The future belongs to organizations that treat people as their most valuable asset, invest in skills, culture, and purpose, use technology responsibly to enhance, not replace, the human experience at work. HR stands at the center of this transformation, ready to lead organizations into a future where work is meaningful, inclusive, and adaptive.